Eagles. Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to a Monday edition of Birds 365, following week one of the NFL with one game to play left in week one. The good news is our Philadelphia Eagles sit at 1-0, getting ready for week two versus the Kansas City Chiefs coming up this Sunday. Johnny Mac, how you doing on this Monday morning?
All footballed out, and we still got one to go.
Yeah.
A lot of football yesterday.
Tons of football, Johnny Mac. What'd you make of it overall? We'll talk about the game. We'll talk about, obviously, the Eagles and the ramifications for them. We'll talk about Landon Dickerson. We'll get some of the updates on that. But just your thoughts on week one of the NFL yesterday, the full slate, obviously.
Yeah, well, phenomenal game last night. I feel like every year the Buffalo Bills play the game of the year, and we got it out of the way earlier because nothing is matching that the rest of the way. That was phenomenal. Man, you in the modern game. I love John Harbaugh as a coach, but the modern game, you got to go for the win. You can't sit back. The minute they punt that football and they got conservative, the game's over. Game's over. When you're facing a high-powered offense, and obviously everything was clicking for Josh Allen, that throw to Josh Palmer late was just phenomenal. There's like two guys in the world who can make that throw.
That throw was incredible.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like, boy, you got to go win games. And there's a lot of bad breaks. Obviously, Derrick Henry had a phenomenal game and fumbled. You don't expect that. They stopped him on that fourth down. He's trying to throw it to Dalton Kincaid. It goes off his hand, and Coleman catches it, which is just bad luck. But so some things, when you come back from those deficits, you need some breaks, obviously. But still, boy, I don't like John Harbaugh's mentality in those late game situations. I don't like it. You got to go win games now. It's not like it was in the 70s, right, where you just flip the field and punt and leave. You're giving up the game, essentially, especially against a quarterback like that. So that's my biggest takeaway from Buffalo. But phenomenal game. They played, like I said, I feel like every year the most exciting game, the game of the year, so to speak, is always Buffalo. And I think we got it out of the way early, unfortunately. And then some other stuff. But, Eagles fans are going to get pissed off. Because then they did get pissed off when I said it yesterday. Not everything's about the Eagles. The Packers are going to be a freaking problem, man.
They're good, John. They're good. I mean,
My God. Yeah, it's one game. Detroit played like shit, and their coordinator, they're going to have a difficult time replicating. And we'll see what Ben Johnson does as a head coach tonight, but they're going to have a tough time replicating what they did. But they couldn't do anything against that Green Bay defense. And Micah wasn't even playing that much. And he was taking penalties to the woodshed when he was playing. Boy, and you heard Jay Glazer's report. Bad couple days for the people getting on me about. I thought you said they were looking for an edge rusher.
We got to talk about that, boy. That was a big trade package the Birds are ready to send.
All of a sudden, Za'Darius Smith is here, and before that, they're trying to give up 2 number ones, a 3 and a 5, and amongst other things. But people forget that. And Jerry wasn't going to trade him in the division, which I don't blame him, by the way. One of the few sound decisions he made. But that's the point. If they pull off that trade, the Eagles, barring catastrophic injuries, which is baked into everything,
right?
They're winning another Super Bowl. It's over. It's as close to over as it could possibly be.
Well, it appears Howie agrees with you because he was ready to ship. He was ready to ship quite a bit, John, to acquire Micah Parsons.
And the same thing is happening with the Packers. That's the kind of seismic impact. And that team is going to be the robot. It's going to be the hurdle for everybody else. I'm sorry, Eagles fans. You've been replaced already. They are the hurdle.
No, I don't think you can say that.
They are the hurdle. I'm sorry.
The Birds are still the
that's
hurdle,
my
though.
that's my overreaction week 1.
Your
They are the hurdle.
overreaction week 1 is the Packers are more of a hurdle than the
They
Eagles?
are the hurdle. They are the team similar to last year. It wasn't the Eagles, it was Detroit. Similar to last year. Doesn't mean you can't get over it, but they are the hurdle.
Wow. Johnny Mac on a Monday morning said, I'm pouring water on your fire, Eagles fans. Look, I love it. It was a good game, though. That Packers team is good. They got a good defense, good offense. Jordan Love looked pretty good yesterday. How about the Lions, though, John? I don't think they're going to be as good this year, man. That offensive line looked shoddy yesterday a little bit. Coaching performance, obviously, we talked about the difference there. I didn't get it. Jared Goff throws the ball 39 times, and they got 13 points on the board. Sometimes it doesn't all add up. But what'd you make of the Lions, who you just mentioned? They might regress this year.
Yeah, well, I think the offensive coordinator situation is such a downgrade.
Yeah,
that's number one. Two, as you point out, the offensive line, the interior. Frank Ragnow retiring just destroyed them. I don't think people recognize how good that guy was. And then they had to move one of their guards inside the center to replace him. So they get worse at 2 positions. And then they got a rookie playing the other position. So it's going to be great. They're still going to be a good team. They're still going to be a playoff team, I think. They have too much talent. Although the other thing I saw about that game, because I did watch that game completely, Aiden Hutchinson does not look like the same dude. And that's coming off a very, very serious. Now, maybe he gets there. Because it's a very, very serious injury, but he did not look like the guy before the injury.
Yeah.
And if he's not that guy, they're gonna have some issues. Now, maybe he just needs time to ramp up, but they need him to get back to at least close to what he was. Yeah, that was a statement game. As much as you can have a statement in week 1, because of how good Detroit was last year, and they're back healthy. That was a statement game.
No doubt about it. John, one more game.
It's not only Micah Parsons, because you put them in this situation where they already have Rashawn Gary. They already have Rashawn Gary. They have Lucas Van Ness, who's starting to come on. So former first round. I broke my own rule. First round pick. They're gonna be a problem.
They are. They're gonna be good. John, one more game I want to talk about, and then we're gonna get into the Eagles. And the game that I want to talk about does apply to the Eagles. Did you catch any of the Friday night game between the Chargers and the Chiefs? That was a pretty good game. Justin Herbert looked awesome in that game. And the Kansas City Chiefs, John, maybe you're on to something. I don't know what you thought of their performance, but that's who the Eagles' week 2 opponent is, obviously. So we're going to hone in on that a little bit. What'd you make of that game?
Yeah, I've said it pretty consistent. I think the Eagles broke me on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I don't see it with that team anymore. Now the injuries hurt at wide receiver. They don't have any speed again at wide receiver. Kelsey's a declining player, so I mean, he's a bigger star because of his fiance, but he's a declining player. So Patrick Mahomes is still great, and you see some of the off-schedule stuff, but he just doesn't have the weapons. And they've gotten a little bit better on the offensive line, but I rarely do this. But since I went down that hot take already, I'll do it. I'll tell you, it's Monday. I'm picking the Eagles in this game. I don't care. It's on the right. I mean, that team is reputation based now, and I picked the Chargers to win that division. I think they're going to win that division.
Yeah.
I hope Eagles fans watch that, because they could watch it, because I don't understand their blatant hatred of Justin Herbert. The dude can play.
He looked good on Friday night. Got to give him credit there. He looked good, man.
And again, Jim Harbaugh, maybe it pops up, very similar to his brother. Good coach, but I don't think he coaches the right way. So maybe that they're not going to win the Super Bowl, the Chargers, but I think they're going to win the division, and ultimately the way he plays will probably, kill them in the playoffs. But yeah, Kansas City to me is an obviously declining team.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. John, let's get into the Eagles a little bit. We still will talk more about week one. We got Jeff Kerr coming up. We'll talk about Giants, Commanders. We'll talk about some of the other games, but I did want to get in because, the Eagles made a move on Friday that we didn't have a chance to talk about here on Birds 365. We did get John on for a breaking news reaction, which was notorious from this super chat here that Niall puts in. Niall, thanks, brother. He says, best part of last week's shows was J-Mac getting attacked by a bee on the Za'Darius Smith. Great pickup. Eagles needed a power pass rusher. So that brings me right to it. John did give a reaction on the National Football Show on Za'Darius Smith. But John, here on Birds 365, what do you think of the Eagles' latest addition that they made late on a football Friday?
Yeah, I think it's an improvement. Now, obviously, you have to see where he is physically, and you have to. There's always concern with older players and when the decline begins, but he was still pretty good last year. Again, levels here. He's a heck of a lot better than Azeez Ojulari and Obo, and even if Josh Uche, because I think Josh played pretty well in his limited snaps in week one, but he's obviously better than those guys. And then if you're being honest, it's very likely still better than Jalen Hurts. And if he hits, he's better than Nolan Smith. He has been better than Nolan Smith.
Right.
So this makes the Philadelphia Eagles a better team. Simple. So I have no problems with it. You swing for the fences with Micah, which is, that was one-sided. It doesn't matter how much you offer if the other team has no interest in listening.
I don't know. I know. Listen, I don't know if this guy knows a damn thing, but there's this dude on Twitter. What's his name? Micah Parsons' his brother. He loves to stir the NFL pot on Twitter, and he goes back and forth with all the fan bases. And he quote tweeted the report and was like, the craziest part about this is Jerry Jones was damn near ready to do it. And I'm like, I don't know if he knows a thing. He might not know a thing, but I could see Jerry being like, who gives a shit? Like, just because Jerry doesn't give a rat's ass.
Well, then why didn't he do it?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe somebody talked him off the ledge.
Yeah, no, I mean, and he has been talked off the ledge before, most notably Johnny Manziel. So, if it were that close, he would have done it. It was a better offer.
It was.
It was one-sided. It was never going to happen. And again, so you get two number ones and Kenny Clark, and the Eagles offer two. And I think people missed the last part that Jay said: two number ones, a 3, a 5, amongst other things. That means they were sending a player as well. Now you can debate who that player was or who it was going to be. If you use the linear mindset of Jerry Jones was looking for a run stopper, then you immediately go to Jordan Davis. Right. However, again, he doesn't have a linear mindset. So that was just spin and narrative about the player he got. So it could be anybody. But the bottom line is it was a significantly better offer. And he didn't want to trade. He didn't even want to trade him in the NFC, but evidently couldn't get any traction in the AFC. So he, unfortunately for everybody else in the NFC, kept him in the conference. He wasn't coming here, but
it's still the takeaway for me is that
he wanted to come here.
Right. But if the Eagles identify a player, they're going to be willing to spend at that position. I mean, they haven't necessarily spent crazy at that position in the past outside of the draft picks, but it's going to be interesting to see. They do end up with Za'Darius Smith, John. I think Niall brings up the one point that I am excited about with him, and we do have to see how he pans out as an older player in the league, but we got our size. We talked about this. We got a lot of small edge rushers on this football team. Za'Darius Smith is not small. He is much bigger than the edge rushers that the Eagles currently have. So I think that's a big addition as well, that you give yourself some size at the defensive end position.
I'm not as worried about that. I'm just glad they got somebody who knows how to rush the passer. I mean, this guy's been a long time effective pass rusher. Long time effective.
He had 9 sacks last year, John.
And he's one of the, yeah.
And a lot of pressure.
And he's, and he's got, he's been doing it for a long time, really since he broke through in Baltimore in 2018. He's been a big time pass rusher in this league. And he can do it from all angles. He can play inside. He's played inside. He can play outside as a pass rusher. The size thing, he's much bigger than typically, but the Eagles have shown that hasn't really hampered them. And I think that's just the evolution of the game. I'm more concerned with they got somebody who understands how to pass rush, is a finisher, and he will probably be their best pass rusher.
Yeah.
Again, now you have to be careful because of the age, but the Eagles kind of started this as they usually do ahead of the curve. If you go back to the Super Bowl 57 year in season when they bring in Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh,
right.
This sort of, I called it the mercenary market, where these guys don't want to do this bullshit in the off season. They're, he's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to sit there in OTAs. And so they pick and choose and wait. And sometimes they come in early, sometimes they come in late, these veteran players. So you have to be careful of that decline. But this guy should, last year, if you just take last year, he's their best pass rusher. So if the decline isn't a fall off dramatically, and I'm including Nolan Smith, he's their best pass rusher. I'm not including the edge rusher, I'm saying. Not including Jalen Carter. But, yeah, so it's a significant upgrade.
Speaking of Za'Darius Smith, it is his birthday today, so he turns 33 years old today before he takes a snap in Eagle Green.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Big difference between 32 and 33.
Hey, listen, it's one tick higher, John, on the clock. We'll see how Za'Darius pans out. John, what other updates on the Eagles? I know we're waiting on updates from Landon Dickerson. I'm not sure if you had a chance to rewatch the game yet. I know some people put out some updates. Jahad Campbell came out. He was the highest graded defensive player in that football game. I want to talk about him a little bit. And then I want to start to prep for the Chiefs. Obviously, we still have a week to go for that. But what other updates are we waiting on for the Birds? I think Landon Dickerson is the most notorious of the updates that we're
we're going to talk to Nick Sirianni today. We didn't get to talk to him after the game because of the weird Thursday night. So really it ramps back up Eagles wise today. We'll talk to him today, coordinators tomorrow. Not that Nick Sirianni is going to give us anything with injuries. I don't think it's terribly serious with Landon, but again, if this thing keeps cropping up, if he's not going to finish games, if he is going to finish games, I'm more concerned about Will Shipley, at least short term, because you have, his rib injury. If he's not able to play, all of a sudden you're down to Saquon Barkley and AJ Dillon at running back. So I know a lot of people, the Eagles waived Kenyon Green and they have an open roster spot and everybody thinks, oh, he's going outside. I think he just might be elevating Ultra Guesstimate. If Will Shipley's going to be, it's not, going to be season ending, but if he's got to miss a couple of weeks, you need another running back. And
I don't know if AJ Dillon can serve that role that Shipley was serving.
Oh no, completely different player.
Completely. I mean, you saw Dillon when they gave him 3 carries in a row. By the third carry, it already looked like he had lost some juice.
Yeah, that and plus Will's a great receiver. It actually turned into I was one of their most explosive plays of the game. Little throw in the flat to Will Shipley ended up getting 20 yards. It ended up being a run because evidently they thought it was behind the line of scrimmage, but either way, it doesn't matter. As far as the pass catching part of it, and they're just completely different players. Now, if you need somebody to run between the tackles, you'd rather have AJ Dillon than Will Shipley. But the point is, you need more than one backup running back. So that to me is the key injury to keep an eye on. if that's a week-to-week injury, if he's gonna miss a couple weeks, they might have to do something at running back. So and then corner, yeah, I think everybody's overreacting to corner. They're gonna give Jacorian Bennett a chance to prove that he can't play. And when they get to that point, obviously you'll know it. And I think the overreaction to Adoree Jackson is a little bit over the top as well. But that to me is I'm not going to blame people for their week one overreactions because I just gave you a week one overreaction.
You did give us a week one overreaction.
But I mean, it is, and I do partially tongue in cheek. It is, people do overreact to week one. It's just what they do.
Well, somebody put in, I don't know if you've looked at the PFF grades on week one. Adoree Jackson apparently did not come back very good, John.
Oh, nobody's saying he played well. I'm just saying the overreaction that's going to continue.
But the grading does support the people who say he played like dog shit. I mean, the grading supports it.
Well, he did not play well. Nobody's trying to. What I'm trying to say is, as a veteran player, that the assumption that that's going to be consistent. It's like Jahad Campbell had a phenomenal grade. Guess what? That's not going to be consistent for 17 weeks. It's just the way the NFL goes. You have ups and downs, and it's an EKG. But Adoree Jackson knows how to play. And he even in that game when he was struggling, he made a couple plays before he got evaluated with a concussion. The one where he got the pass breakup almost was an interception from Byron Young. Obviously, you can't count on Byron to make that kind of play, but he had a shot. And that changes the whole narrative. So I do think he didn't play well, but I think people are overreacting. And again, I said, watch the rest of the league. If you did watch the rest of the league, I don't know how many, we're going to have Jeff Kerr pop up. How many first round picks does Baltimore have in the secondary? They're getting gashed left and right.
Yeah, they were.
Now, granted, it's Josh Allen. Cornerbacks are going to get beat.
They are. We'll see what they end up doing. I don't know if Howie's going to be comfortable with Adoree. We'll see what his motive is there. John, one more topic I want to hit with you before we get to Jeff Kerr. We got Jeff Kerr in the green room. Hope he's coming up. And then we'll have Chris Franklin in hour number 2. So a great Monday show planned for everybody. Don't forget to hit that like button. Appreciate all of our great people in the chat. Another week of football, everybody. We are in the mix. I love it. Absolutely love it. John, Jalen Carter, there's some talk around potential further discipline coming for Jalen Carter. Do you know anything? Have you heard anything? What can you uncover? What can you tell us about what to expect with Jalen Carter coming up this week?
Well, it's probably going to come out today. So you can bring Jeff up now because he can. So because a lot of people wrote about this. And of course, people don't read it. So what's changed between now? There's a lot of thought that the NFL might give him a 1-game suspension. In history of spitting incident, the long and storied history of spitting incidents, they typically just fine the player. So everybody, why did they change it? Why did they change it? Because at the owners' meeting, they told everybody they're changing. They want to eliminate this kind of stuff from the game. They told the coaches, the executives, the owners themselves, 0 tolerance on this bullshit. That's reason people are thinking they might set an example. Not because, and God love you, Governor Josh Shapiro, not because they hate the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, they love the Philadelphia Eagles. They're not picking on Jalen Carter. They want to remove this stuff from the game. They also want to remove the gestures. And I don't personally, I think it's stupid. I don't care. But they've stated they want it. It's a point of emphasis. They want to remove it from the game. So anything that shows violence, whether it's, a gun thing, even as stupid as shooting off your fake guns or the stupid swipe that they think is partially sexually suggestive, They want to remove these things from the game. Is it an overreaction? Maybe. But I always say with people who constantly complain about officials, number one, why do you even watch the game if all you're going to do is complain about officials?
Well, I'm
But
not
number
complaining about
two,
it. I'm just wondering what happens to Jalen Carter, because I don't think they're wrong, honestly, the NFL about that. But go ahead.
but number two is the people that are like that, you hate the legislation. You don't hate that. That's what the officials are being told to do. And they're making the decision they're being told to do. So you're not even hating the right people. You hate the legislation, which is fine, but that's like if your town has too high taxes, you hate the legislation. There's nothing you can do about it. From the standpoint if you're working and you have to enforce the laws. So they're enforcing the laws. It's a point of emphasis. Jeff, jump in here. Drives me crazy. I wrote about this. I explained the difference. And everybody got in on the comments and said, well, why are they changing it for the Eagles? Not everything's about the Eagles.
It was the first game of the season, and a star player, probably the best player on the whole damn football team, decided to spit on the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
It doesn't take a genius to realize that that's not a good look for the NFL.
This is and I had a debate. It was a really good debate. By the way, this is what happens when you actually go out and talk to people and not go on the internet. Don't you think, and someone pointed this out to me, and I thought it was a good conversation. Don't you think, in a way, he was suspended already? And they said, and this person did think he was going to get suspended too. And I said, yes and no. I said, he was kicked out of the game. He was kicked out of the game before he played the snap, but he still gets credit for playing in that game. Therefore, he was not suspended.
Well, in the past, I think before it was a point of emphasis, I think they would have considered it a de facto suspension, and he would have been back in week 2.
Yeah,
and maybe that still happens.
Last year, that would have been the case.
Yeah. So that part I agree with, but I would not be surprised. And by the way, I think the Eagles might be. I'm not excited, but I think the Eagles might be all right. Thank you for taking this off our plate, because then you're going to have all. And I already heard, well, you got to sit them for a series. What does that do?
No.
You got to sit him for a half. Very collegey bullshit. If he's there, I'm going to play him from snap one because I'm just trying to win football games. But I think the Eagles would like the NFL to take that responsibility off their plate, to be honest.
I would agree. And, John, do you think it'd come today or tomorrow? I think they would wait till after today's game to do it.
Well, they might. Everybody was pointing towards Monday. But they don't like to impact games, so you might have something there. But
I got really upset when people are bringing up to me prior spitting incidents when I wrote my column. And by the way, my column was not about Jalen Carter getting suspended. It was all the goodwill Jalen Carter has brought to himself and how he's turned himself around. I literally had people that I work with saying, "Oh, that's the guy that we know from Georgia."
I know. And those people are idiots too, by the way.
I agree. And I wrote that and I said, but unfortunately, it's stuff people remember. It just is.
And hey, anybody who watches this show knows I like Jalen Carter a lot.
I think Jalen Carter.
I think he's misunderstood. I think he's he's so polite. He's such a nice person off the field. All it is a little bit of a lack of maturity, I would say.
I would say he's a competitor that just does silly things in the moment.
Yeah. Very similar to Ndamukong Suh from that standpoint early in his career. But yeah, that doesn't excuse it. But the people that want to make this out to be like he's, again, even with the horrible incident that happened at Georgia, which affected lives, so I'm not trying to dismiss that at all. But what I do say is he wasn't out robbing banks. He's not like a consistent criminal who's, he made some very serious mistakes and he continues to make some poor judgments. but that doesn't make you the worst person in the world. So
Yeah.
I don't like those
unfortunately
people.
unfortunately in 2025, everything is just built to the
Yeah, I think we can all agree though, spitting on somebody is a pretty low class behavior. I don't get.
That's how I wrote it.
I'm not
Like I have a hard
that.
time. I get for people who are like, oh, why are they changing the rule? But for the people who can't understand why the NFL would want to discipline that, I don't understand that mindset. I mean, they got the first game of the year, maybe one of the most watched games of week one, and it starts off with the star of the Eagles defense spitting on the star on Dallas. I mean, come on, guys. That's terrible look for the shield, as everybody calls it.
You know what, Zander? This is how I put it in perspective. And again, this is how low the Dallas defense has gotten over the years. If Kenny Clark would have done the same thing to Jalen Hurts, Eagles fans would want him suspended the entire season, no matter what Jalen did to provoke.
Well, they would want him suspended, but
that's just the way. That's why I don't listen to people.
No, yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, anybody defending him is crazy. Yeah.
Doc spit in his direction. Yeah. Okay. Sure,
all right. Yeah.
Jeff, real quick, what'd you make of the week one games, brother? The crazy game last night. Packers looked pretty good. The Chiefs, I don't know. They got the Eagles got them in week two in Arrowhead. I don't think they looked too hot in the Brazil game. What'd you make of week one, brother? Some of your takeaways.
I'll tell you what, it was a fun week one Sunday. The 1 o'clock games were great. And then we got treated to, oh, by the way, Eagles fans know this all too well. This is what happens when you lose both coordinators. We saw it in Detroit, but I thought the biggest concern was their defensive line got no pressure, and their offensive line just looked terrible. And that's what happens when you replace multiple starters, including Frank Ragnow, including who else is gone from that team? Kevin Zeitler. There's, I think, Graham.
Graham had to move from guard to center.
That's right. That's right. Graham's the center.
You're impacting 3 positions on the interior. But my same as you. Aiden Hutchinson did not look like Aiden Hutchinson, that is a big concern if I'm Detroit, because that was a very serious injury, obviously. And
you know who I said Detroit missed? Za'Darius Smith.
Yeah.
Hey, they couldn't get a deal done. I was trying to explain to people on Friday, why is this guy still on the market? He must not be any good. I'm like, no, he's good. Him and Detroit just could not agree on money. They've been fighting over this for about a month or two, and I think he just said, I had enough. I'm going somewhere else.
Well, let's start with the edge rushing. First, with Jay Glazer's report, 2 number ones, a 3, a 5, amongst other things, Jeff Kerr, for your guy, Micah Parsons. By the way, that team, that was my overreaction from week one. That team is now the hurdle in the NFC. Sorry. That is the team
they
have to overcome.
Is that an overreaction? I don't think that's an overreaction.
I don't think it's an overreaction, but obviously people on this show think it's an overreaction. They're the defending champions, Jeff Kerr.
Who is better than Green Bay that can compete with the Eagles?
Nobody.
I mean, I don't think the 49ers are. I watched a lot of that game yesterday.
They got lucky to win that game.
Yeah, Brock Purdy had a terrible throw. Tariq Woolen.
Tariq, well, and I had a lot of Eagles fans. Go get Tariq Woolen. You don't want that guy.
Yeah.
He's got no ball skills whatsoever.
He had 2 really bad plays on that final drive.
Cost him the game.
Yeah.
Cost him the game.
But it was a good game, though. And again, I'm a little higher. I was a little higher on Seattle than most teams were going in. I actually picked them with the points. I said, okay, plus 2.5. Yeah, I will take that. They didn't, obviously. But they played, I thought, really well. And I thought their offensive line really hurt Darnold, which is why I didn't get the Darnold signing. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, they were going to win the game. And,
they were.
Nick Bosa had the big pass rush and all of a sudden pushed the right tackle into Sam Darnold, strip sack, game over. But that, to your point about, boy, man, that ball, that was one of the worst throws I saw, the Brock Purdy throw, which should have been intercepted by anyone who had any concept.
There were at least 3 guys in the vicinity that could have picked that off.
And Tariq Woolen was just standing there and not going for the football. And he allowed, I forget the tight end's name, to just go over him and catch it.
I couldn't believe Purdy threw it. I thought it was an errant throw. And he had a couple errant throws in that game that, I mean, honestly, the big takeaway from that game for me was Robert Saleh is back as the defensive coordinator of the 49ers, and they are significantly better because of him.
Yeah, they have a weak schedule, so I think they're going to have a good chance to be a playoff team this year.
Tell you what, John, you want to hear my reaction from Sunday? The Bills already locked up home field advantage.
See, I'm not as high on the Bills
but they don't play anybody.
The Bill, well, yeah, they're going to win. Well, I in my predictions on the show, I said, if you're going to guarantee one team wins their division, it's Buffalo, because the AFC. Miami might be the worst team in football.
Oh man, that was
yeah. I kept them off my 5 worst teams, and I actually put the Colts on there. I made a mistake already, I think. And the Colts are good.
Man, the Colts are good.
They're not a good team, trust me.
No, they're not. But I'm saying
Dolphins
Shane Steichen has that team. He had Daniel Jones working. I think that's one environment where if somebody's going to get the max out of Daniel Jones,
Daniel Jones. I'm going to make it.
I'm guy to do it.
I'm going to make another bold week 1 overreaction. Ed Kratz, I hope you're watching. Daniel Jones with Shane Steichen is this year's Sam Darnold with Kevin O'Connell.
It's funny you said that, John. I was thinking something along those lines. Not exactly.
There's always one quarterback every year that does this, whether it's Darnold or Geno or Baker. It just seems to be one guy, and this year it might be Daniel Jones.
Yeah. So that's also one of my overreactions. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah. Well, I like how you mentioned our reaction, John, because I got to do this every Sunday for CBS. And by the way, they're a big hit. And that I ripped the Giants again on Sunday.
What are you doing, dude? What are you doing, Brian Daboll? Come on, just pull the trigger.
So that was one of them.
I assume you're talking about Russell Wilson, and my contention would be: do you want to put a rookie quarterback behind that offensive line? He's going to be cooked too.
Look, do you want your job or not?
Yeah, well, I hear you on that. I'm just trying to say, I don't know if you want to. You want to put your rookie quarterback behind there, man. You might get him killed.
Well, that's possible, but he can also move a little bit and create some things. And by the way, I wish Russell Wilson would retire, because every game he plays, he gets further away from the Hall of Fame.
I know.
This guy was a no doubt Hall of Fame player. And every time he plays, you're like, I can't put this guy in Hall of Fame. That's another overreaction.
Before he went to Denver, he was a lock for the Hall.
A lock. And now he keeps ruining his reputation.
I do think it's funny. Like it used to be let Russ cook, and now it's Russ is cooked.
Yeah, Russ is definitely cooked, unfortunately for him. It is an overreaction month, guy. I mean, I think all of September, Sill says on the National Football Show, I think he's right. He says September is the liars month in the NFL.
Well, it is.
It is. It really is. So while there was a lot of good football and a lot of things to take away, I'm laying low. I want to see who continues to emerge, who looks good over the next 4 weeks, and then we'll see.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're Brian Daboll and you want to save your job, you got to get to Jackson Dart quickly.
You have to. I mean, you can't go James Winston.
He was non-committal on Russ being the starter for week 2, so it might be coming as soon as this week, guys.
Yeah, quickly.
Yeah, and you know what? I wasn't thoroughly impressed with Washington. I just think they beat a bad.
No, I don't think they played well, but I did. Debo, 2 things about Debo. One, he looked overweight. I don't know if he's wearing a black jacket or not, but he also looked pretty good. So I have to give him credit, because I'm not a big Debo guy.
But Crosley Merritt, aka Bill, he looked pretty good yesterday.
Yeah. But overall, I wasn't impressed with Washington. Sort of a workmanlike win against a bad team. And that's fine. That's what you want to do in week 1.
So what did we think of Bills Ravens, guys?
Game of the year.
John and I were talking about last night. John called it as soon as they punted. He's like, the Bills are going to win. I said, yeah.
I mean, that was my biggest criticism. Look, when you lose a game like that, some things happen. The deflected ball, which is Derrick Henry never fumbles, he fumbles. You need some breaks to get back in the game. But I mean, when that happened, I love John Harbaugh as a coach, but he's too old school. This is the modern game. When you're playing, especially a team with a good quarterback, You can do that if you're playing a rookie quarterback or a young quarterback or Russell Wilson at this stage of his career. Cam Ward was just not good.
No.
You can do that, guys. Against Josh Allen, you're punting the game away. You're punting the game away.
You know what, John? I feel like, because I've covered the Ravens before, they still have this mentality that defense runs their team, and Ray Lewis and Ed Reed are back there, and they're going to make a play to win the game, and that you can't do that anymore.
No, you can't. You can't. Consistently. Sometimes it will work. Sometimes you will make a play. But good offense beats good defense. That doesn't mean you can't win with good defense. But that's the difference between the game now and the game it was in the past, where good defense wins championships, blah, blah, blah. And people will say, well, look what the Eagles did. I said good offense.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad offense. Good offense.
I'll tell you what, I've covered way too many Ravens games. I've followed this team for so long that I don't know if they'll ever be able to get over this hump, just because too many things just seem to happen to them late in games. Like, I put out a stat last night, and people are already mad because it's quarterback stat. I don't care. Lamar Jackson is 59-9 when he's got a 7-point lead or more in the fourth quarter. For context, Josh Allen is 63-2. Patrick Mahomes is 69-2. Jalen Hurts is 37-1. Why is that the case? And it's not all Lamar's fault. Guys are turning the ball over in the red zone. Zay Flowers.
John's point, John just nailed it perfectly. You want to improve that number? Take the chance on not giving the ball back to Josh Allen, not putting the fate.
And by the way, man,
in your odds.
Yep.
And by the way, when you have a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, it makes that sentiment even more egregious.
I
Look
agree.
at the Eagles when they need a first down and Jalen Hurts is in the mix as a runner. Look how they win the game against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
They had the pass rush, undisciplined. He goes and gets the first down.
Yep. And he went into a trip set, and everybody was like, "Oh, why would you do that?" I saw somebody broke this down on social media. It was a great breakdown, and he just uses it to his advantage. Goes and picks up the first down with his legs, easy.
That's what I don't get. You have Lamar Jackson, you have Derrick Henry, you have that offensive line. I mean, what are you afraid? Derrick Henry's going to fumble the ball again? Are you afraid Lamar's going to fumble the ball? I just don't get. How does Lamar only throw one pass, by the way, in the last 7 minutes of that game? One.
It's just an old school mentality, and unless he gets over it, they're gonna. And I pick them to win the Super Bowl every year.
I picked them to go.
One of these years, I'm gonna be right, and it might be this year. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's week 1 on the road against one of the other significant contenders, and you should have beat them.
And Buffalo's very good, by the way.
John Harbaugh's got to get the hell out of the way. And if you think about Sean McDermott, why doesn't Josh Allen have a Super Bowl? Well, you could look at Sean McDermott, who can't navigate 13 seconds at the end of a game.
The Bills can't beat the Chiefs, and the Ravens can't beat the Bills and the Chiefs.
Well, I think everybody can beat the Chiefs now.
Well, yeah. That was my takeaway from that game. These two teams are miles ahead of the Chiefs.
Yeah. Herbert looked real good in that game. What'd you guys make of the Commanders? A lot of hype on the Commanders coming into the year. I know they played the lowly Giants, but what was your take on the Commanders and how they looked this weekend?
I just said I think workman-like performance against a bad team. I didn't think
Jaden was too impressive.
No, he didn't.
I mean, it was. I thought Debo looked better than I expected. He was impactful. I thought he also looked overweight. I don't know what's going on there.
It might have been a flak jacket, John.
It might have been a flak jacket. Because he looked good playing. So Zach Ertz got a touch. A lot of ex-Eagles by Kenny Gainwell made a big play on special teams. Kenny looked good in that Pittsburgh game.
Kenny's the reason why that rookie isn't playing in Pittsburgh. Dylan Johnson.
Yeah. Darren Kennard had to come in when Zach Tom got hurt, had a couple big blocks for Green Bay.
Josh Jobe had a good game yesterday.
Josh Jobe, yeah. He was better than Tariq Woolen. I'll tell you that.
He was.
Yeah, a lot of ex-Eagles showing up yesterday. I wasn't impressed by Washington, but, week 1, never in doubt, pretty much. Not that it's any great shakes, but defense played well against a pathetic offensive team. The two coaches, Brian Daboll, Mike McDaniel, they might as well,
Who gets fired first?
They might as well update the resume.
Yeah, McDaniel's
well,
cooked.
McDaniel, it looks like that team's checked out on him. He's got to go. And by the way, Tua's probably the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. It's such a weird guy because he's got great arm talent, and if his back foot hits the ground and everything's perfect and the first read works, he's unbelievable. But the minute it goes sideways in any way, he's lost. Completely lost.
It's amazing. There's got to be a 30 for 30 Sunday on him and Jalen Hurts, and that day at Alabama when Tua came in for him. Because I even made the joke. I'm like, they just benched the better quarterback. What are they doing?
Yeah, but that I don't know. I was at Alabama during that time. You got to remember they had 4 receivers on that roster that went to the NFL. Like their offense was built to move.
Well, their whole team pretty much went to the NFL.
No, but I'm saying their offense specifically at that time, early Saban era, he ran the ball and had great defenses. That's how he won football games. I mean, he had A.J. McCarron and Blake Sims and Jake Coker going to national titles. When Jalen was there, they had such a different offense that arm talent that John just said, it worked so much better for.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. The decision that Tua was a better quarterback at that moment.
Jalen got better.
Yeah, Jalen has gotten consistently better.
Yeah,
I mean, consistently.
Do you guys want a fun stat? So Lincoln Riley, I have to remember all the quarterbacks that Lincoln Riley had at Oklahoma, but it was like Baker Mayfield, Jalen, Kyler
Spencer
Murray,
Rattler.
Spencer Rattler was one of them. There was another one in there. I forget the 5th, but they all started week 1 yesterday.
Yeah, they had a lot of good things cooking at Oklahoma, not so much at Southern Cal.
No, I think that was a mistake when he left.
Yeah.
I think he had set at Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma beat Michigan, I think, didn't they?
They did beat Michigan. Michigan looked terrible. Sorry, Martin Frank.
Jeff, how much of an impact does the addition of Za'Darius Smith make for the Philadelphia Eagles?
I'll tell you what, Zander, I wrote about this Friday. I was like on fumes when this happened. I was more than excited to see that they got him because this is a player I thought they needed personally, just for depth, at the very least depth. But I was not impressed with the pass rush on third. I thought Josh Uche was their best pass rusher, John.
So do I. Yeah, and he had a couple nice pass rushes.
I mean, this guy, I think he can make an impact for this team. I thought he was a very productive player for Detroit last year. And everybody's like, well, he had Aiden Hutchinson next to him. I'm like, actually, he didn't because Aiden Hutchinson.
No, he didn't. Yeah.
No, he was really good for them. So, and it looks like he's still got some gas left in the tank. I think it's going to take him about a couple weeks, but I think Za'Darius Smith's really going to help that locker room too.
If the same guy shows up, he's their best pass rusher, edge rusher. Their best.
Yep.
So I think it's a big improvement. I think it was a needed improvement. I'd rather have Micah Parsons, but
yeah, me too. I still rather have Trayvon Walker, but I'd really rather have both. That's probably ruled out now. Do you guys agree? Like, do you think this is the move? This is
the move.
Okay.
Now, if he completely falls on his face, if he's Robert Quinn, everything's a fluid situation.
By the way, Jacksonville, again, they play the bad football team too. I was impressed with what Jacksonville was able to do yesterday. And I know it was Carolina.
Because, Jeff, I'm rooting for Jacksonville to start 0-6 so that they start shopping Trayvon Walker.
I'll tell you what, Zander, Tennessee's in that division. That is not happening.
It ain't happening.
I wouldn't get to it because Carolina's in that conversation again to be the worst team in football. I mean, they're at this point, I feel kind of bad for Bryce Young. Even though he hasn't, doesn't deserve excuses, but that is just a bad football team.
They're horrible. I still can't believe they can't fix the wide receiver position.
Well, and they traded Thielen at the only guy who knows how to play, so they're screwing Bryce Young even more. Now he wanted out and all that kind of stuff, but sometimes you just got to play the heavy, and he's a professional. He would have helped them. So I don't know if you're looking at worst teams overreaction. Carolina, Miami, Giants. Those are the three worst teams I saw.
Yesterday was I picked I always do this right after the draft, just because I always like to wait till guys are.
Oh, New England was terrible again.
Oh, New England sucked, by the way.
Yeah.
But I always go right after the draft. I pick 5 rookies that I think are going to have an immediate impact, are going to be good right away. Emeka Egbuka was number 1. Boy, did I want to pat myself on the back for that.
He looks good, man. I like that. I always like that situation for him because he's got such a good quarterback for a rookie receiver.
That was another. They did not play well in that game. And that's another one where
Atlanta should have won that game.
Yeah, they should have won the game, and Baker gets the ball at the end, and you're like, this is going to be
one take I might get wrong is I said I'm not a big fan of Michael Penix. He might develop into a pretty good player.
Yeah, Michael Penix isn't bad.
No, he's not bad at all. I was definitely he's not bad at all. I don't know what he becomes, but I think he's got the tools to get to where.
I like the situation he's in because he's got in my opinion, a good offensive line. He's got enough skill position players, and I think he has an offensive coordinator in Zach Robinson that's going to help him.
Well, I mean, Bijan is a problem, but
that's how I mean Bijan.
Yeah. Drake. I think Drake London got hurt. They got a lot of skill position people. Yeah, they should battle for that division. I don't know if they will. Overall,
remember they swept Tampa last year.
Yeah. Overall, I wasn't impressed with the way Tampa played in that game, but yeah, Baker, you give him a chance at the end, he's probably going to win it. But I don't think Tampa played that well. And I don't think Baker played that well until the end. But yeah, Egbuka was pretty impressive. And obviously, that wasn't it. But they change coordinators every year because, Dave Canales, Liam Cohen, and now who's their coordinator? I don't even know.
That's a good question. I didn't look that up. Yeah, I always forget Liam Cohen was in Jacksonville. Him and your boy James Gladstone is the GM.
James, yeah. Josh Grizzard is there.
Josh Grizzard, that's who it is. Yeah.
So I don't know how that's going to work out. We'll see. That's always a difficult situation. But Baker's he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks, I would say, in the NFL. Even though he wasn't great.
No, he wasn't great yesterday, but he did throw 41 touchdowns last year.
He's been good the last couple
probably going to have a big number this year too, honestly.
And Kellen Moore and the Saints, he's up against it. He's another bad team, but
you know what? I know Eagles fans don't like the Bucs. They are a likable team. The Bucs are a really likable team.
Yeah. By the way, Spencer. Oh, Kyler Murray. Did you mention him as the Oklahoma guy?
Yeah. Kyler Murray was the one I mentioned. I'm trying to think. There's a fifth in there, and I'm just trying to remember those Oklahoma years.
Spencer Rattler threw it 46 times, which is not, and had 214 passing yards.
That's all you need to know.
My Lord. So yeah, there's a lot of bad teams, but Carolina, Miami, New Orleans. Yeah.
The Browns.
Well, the Browns actually look pretty good.
I know. Well, they should have won. They should have won yesterday. I know. They kicked him as a field goal late.
It's amazing. You can play to 100 in this league now with the rule changes and the way they protect quarterbacks. If you know how to play quarterback, and Joe Flacco knows how to play quarterback.
Joe Flacco outplayed Joe Burrow yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
Also,
Joe Burrow did not play well.
Also, I love Bengals fans. I'd rather have a quarterback that throws for 300, 400 yards and do what Joe Burrow does than what Jalen Hurts does. Well, you had a Jalen Hurts passing yardage performance from Joe Burrow and you got the win. I think you'd rather take that.
That's true. It's a good point, Jeff Kerr. Yeah. Not often you see that. But again, the same thing with since at one point they had 3 consecutive sacks. 2 of them were from Myles Garrett.
And
the third one
is going to be good this year again.
That same old issues with Cincinnati. Brutal offensive line. Brutal.
Unserious franchise.
People don't build the right way. They, everybody talks about the Eagles doing this, the Eagles doing that. and they don't copy what the Eagles do well. And that's offensive line, defensive front.
You know why, John? I think these teams, just from talking to people, they think it's Jeff Stoutland, but it was before Jeff Stoutland.
Well, a lot of it is Jeff Stoutland, but you know what? Because the Eagles didn't have a storied history of all pros and Pro Bowl offensive linemen until Jeff got here. But
they had some good offensive linemen, though.
No, yeah, they did. But obviously it really started with Andy, you know, Trey Thomas and John Runyon and trying to get better. But then they just amped it up in the Stoutland era where they have all pros, Pro Bowls. You know, twice they've had all 5 of their offensive linemen have gotten either all pro recognition, Pro Bowl or at least were a Pro Bowl alternate, which is ridiculous.
Is there ever going to be consideration for Jeff Stoutland to potentially make the Hall of Fame?
Well, they don't put assistant coaches in.
I know, and they should. I don't understand why.
I mean, he got the Lifetime Achievement Award for assistant coaches, the Dr. Z Award. Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much the highest you can go as an assistant, unfortunately.
You guys
if they ever do, he'd be in the conversation, no doubt.
Yeah, I agree. Do you guys have any couple days later now from that Eagles game? It was Thursday night. You know, Football Friday is a little bit of a different reaction than a Monday morning. What kind of evolved takes have you guys had on just the Eagles' performance in that Week 1 game? I think one of the things a lot of people are talking about is that linebacker room and how good they looked in that football game. And hey, maybe that helps that Vic Fangio defense make up for any deficiencies they have, whether on the edge or in the cornerback room. Where's your guys' head at on that Eagles Thursday night win?
I mean, for me, I still can't get over how well Jalen played Thursday night. I mean, he was 6 for 6 on third down for 81 yards. And he ran for a touchdown. I think 7 carries for 32 yards and a touchdown on third down, 2. I'm just amazed on how well he played and how poised he looked. It's
amazing because I had the same takeaway. Leaving the game, Jeff, I said, wow, he played a really good game. And, you know, if you just look at the stats and you just look at the black and white game book, you go, well, he didn't play that well. I don't know how to explain this guy anymore because it's like they had one completion of over 10 yards in the entire game. One, the deep shot to John Dotson. That's it for balls that went 10 or more yards down the field. And I came out of that game, thinking, wow, he had a great game.
Yeah.
I can't explain it at this point. He is so rare, so unique.
I got to share this story. I didn't get to share it Friday, but I was talking to Dotson after the game on Thursday. And I said, you just get into the mindset here with Jalen and like what he's reading when he sees like AJ and Devontae are just they're not open or, whatever defense is. And he literally told me this. So Jalen pretty much, he read the defense in the first quarter and he goes, okay, too high. They're playing quarters. I'm going when the opportunity comes, just be ready. And he gave a signal. This is the time. And I think Jahan initially thought he overran it or didn't run a great route at first until he watched it. And he said, Jalen just on the money. It wasn't even, he said, it's just like they did when they worked out in Houston. And I'm like, man, I think that's it, John. I think that explains everything. It's like, you can't explain it, but this is the stuff Jalen does.
He's great, and he is such a great deep ball thrower. He's just got a knack for it. One of the best in football, arguably the best deep ball thrower in football. Which has got to do, I think a lot of people think it's got to do with arm strength. It's got nothing to do with arm strength. They can all throw the ball 40, 50 yards down the field. It's got to do with ball placement, placing it in the bucket, so to speak, giving the wide receiver an opportunity sometimes to run under it. It takes a real feel chemistry to do it. He's tremendous at it.
And it's something he really works on.
Yeah. But yeah, it's such a unique player, and everybody tries to grade everybody the same way. It's like if you needed him to throw for 350 yards, he's not your quarterback. For the Philadelphia Eagles, he's your quarterback.
Yeah, it's he's not gonna I know a lot of people like to tease this, but Josh Allen threw for 251 yards in the fourth quarter last night, and they're like, "Well, it's more than Jalen Hurts did on Thursday." I'm like, "Well, okay, but look at the situation here.
Wow.
The Eagles were not down 15 points in the fourth quarter either."
Yeah, I mean, there's Joe Burrow didn't do it. So if you want to pick out one game, everybody had Joe Burrow had 113 passing yards. Does that mean he's a bad quarterback?
Not at all.
He didn't have a good game, I'll say that.
Yeah, they won the game. I mean, that's better than what they normally do in week one.
That's true.
They lost to the
I think
Patriots.
Joe said that after the game. He said, normally we lose these types of games. So
Yeah, he did say that. And
I saw that.
And people are just ripping the Bengals. I'm like, you guys do know the Bengals lost to the Patriots in week one last year. This is a win.
Yeah. Joe Flacco, baby.
I love
It's amazing this league lets Joe Flacco continue to not only play, but start because they can't get these young quarterbacks up to speed. That is a indictment of coaching, first and foremost. So when you get a quarterback that can play, hold on to him like grim death.
You know what I enjoyed last night? Watching Matt Prater before he kicked. It looked like he just got off the plane.
He did. He looks.
Oh yeah, he did get off the plane Thursday.
First of all, Matt looks like he's 55. He's like 41.
He's still in his 40s.
And nobody's made more big kicks over the last decade or so. Speaking of kickers, Chris Boswell, my God.
Yeah, he's a freak. I actually said to a couple Steelers writers yesterday, I'm like, boy, I feel bad I left Chris Boswell off my top 30 players over 30 years old. And they're like, you probably forgot he was 30. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I put a kicker on there. It was Aubrey. It wasn't him. And
Aubrey's great, but Boswell's more consistent. Boswell's better.
Aaron Rodgers, man, what a performance! What a debut!
That dude can just play. Granted, he's a lunatic, but similar to Joe, but even at a much higher level. I mean, yeah, Aaron Rodgers. It's just. I realize nobody likes him from a personal level, and I get it because he acts like a
moron.
A moron a lot of the time. But boy, when it comes to playing quarterback, you give that guy time. You're in trouble.
This is my favorite thing about Aaron Rodgers. He says he has nothing bad to say about the Jets organization.
And
whole entire, and then he just rips them after he throws 4 touchdowns off them.
Yeah. And by the way, the Jets should have won the game. Again, they don't. Yeah.
I thought Justin Fields was kind of right after the game where he's like, I know we lost, but the fact that we put up 32, I think is something we can build on. I was surprised to see that that game was so
high. That's the best game probably he's ever played.
I'm saying, I agree. Justin Fields, I didn't think he had that in him.
Yeah. By the way, for anybody who thinks Jalen Ramsey is old, and I'm one of them, there's why you got Jalen Ramsey that 4th down. He knocked that ball right out of Garrett Wilson's hands. Textbook.
Yeah. Garrett Wilson's got to hold on to that, though.
Yeah, you want to be a top receiver in football, you got to hold that.
Yeah. That Boswell kick would have been good from 70. Somebody's got to test these kickers. Something's going on.
I know, man. These kickers are booting that ball.
I remember when David Akers made a 63-yard field goal, we were all going nuts because, that just doesn't happen.
Now it's nothing now.
Yeah.
Nothing.
He's got Jake Elliott's booming 70-yarders in training camp.
What is the background of these kickers? Are they getting more soccer players or something? I wonder if they've changed the way they look for kickers in the NFL as opposed to just getting a guy who's kicked his whole life.
I mean, they made that change in the 80s to, usually Mark Mosley, for those old school football fans, one was the MVP.
Former MVP Mark Mosley.
And he was a straight ahead kicker, which back in those days, you had a lot of them. He was one of the last that would kick the ball with with their toe straight out, not the soccer style.
Right.
So
they made that change long ago. But now
I remember Scott Norwood used to have the biggest leg in the NFL. I know everybody likes to tie Scott Norwood with wide right, but he was a really good kicker for a lot of years.
Guys, even Jake Elliott's kick on Thursday night. Now, I don't know how long it would have been, but that thing looked like it was good for another 8-10 yards. That thing was booted on a 58-yarder. I thought it was like that would have been good from 65, 70 maybe.
I think I texted you, John, after he made the kick. I'm like, well, Jake's back.
Yeah, that was a boot from Jake Elliott.
And Jake's not a big guy.
No.
It's an athlete, though.
He's a great athlete.
Great athlete.
But he's great at everything. But these guys just I don't know where the power comes from. Because Boswell's not a big guy either. And just
they changed the ball or something? Like what's the difference?
Well, they have changed the ball, but I don't think it has to do with the ball. Might be juice ball, like baseball.
I don't know. I'm just wondering. I'm just looking for any variables that are possible to kickers booting at 70 yards.
To me, I don't know about you, Jeff. I don't know if you're watching. I was watching Red Zone, so I'm watching the play. I go, Boswell's making this. It was 60-yard kick outdoors in the Meadowlands. Everybody talks about the Meadow. It's early, but not the easiest place to kick. I go, he's making this, and it was dead center.
Oh,
60 yards.
He drilled it. You know, I came in the Sunday starting watching Steelers Jets, and normally because I got Sunday ticket, I'm always flipping. You could do the 4 games at once on Sunday ticket, so I had that. I just couldn't get my eyes off Steelers Jets. I was amazed I was watching. It was a shootout.
Yeah, it was an entertaining game. Yeah,
there were a lot of close games late in that 1 p.m. window.
That's the key to the NFL's, man. I've always said it. All the games come down, not all the games, obviously, but so many games come down are 1-possession games late. And there's such excitement and such everybody's on the edge of their seat, and they forget they watch shitty football for 55 minutes. Yeah, that is the key to it all.
Everybody's like, what a great week 1. I'm like, well, depending on what you think a great week 1 of football.
You got to remember, week 1 is clouded because everybody just wants to see football back on the TV.
But there were a lot of close games, a lot of witching hour games, as Scott Hansen would call them.
Also, the whole ad thing was way overblown by people, including Scott Hansen.
It's business. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, they bought.
I almost took a picture. I'm like, heaven forbid, there's the Verizon ad. It's taken off from your play with 7:54 left in the first quarter.
Well, it's the world we live in, guys. These people are paying how much to air NFL game? I mean, come on. If a company has X amount of viewers on a program, they got to monetize it. They're going to monetize it. It's just the nature of the beast. I wouldn't be surprised if it starts year 1 with the 60 seconds or whatever they had, and then it's full blown ads.
Yeah, it's going to be full blown at some point. You're right. It is a slippery slope, but
it's a business, guy. I have no problem with it, though. I mean, look. I make my living on ads, so maybe I'm a little bit more biased to it.
Well, no, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. Like everybody makes their money on that. That's how you get in the radio. That's how you get.
That's how That's how media operates. That's how we have jobs. Is ads. So maybe I'm biased toward it, but it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. I had a smart business owner told me, and I'm telling you, he's a really smart business owner. He said, just remember, for anybody that asks how so and so gets on this or so and so gets on that, there's someone backing them. There always is.
Right. It's true. It's a good way to look at it. Jeff, we got to run. We got Chris Franklin coming up. Your final thoughts on week 1 as the Eagles now prep for week 2 versus the Chiefs going to Arrowhead.
Give me your biggest overreaction. Week 1, I gave mine. Give me yours.
Oh, man, because I made it. Yeah, because I do this every Sunday. So what was my biggest overreaction of the 12 I did? The Lions window is done.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I like it. Well, that's
John's was that the Packers are now the team to beat in the NFC.
I don't think that's far-fetched after what I watched on Sunday.
See, Jeff doesn't even think it's an overreaction.
I mean, look.
They're probably a good football team, but I'm having a hard time.
Everybody just goes nuts because I love Micah Parsons and I went to Penn State. I'm telling you, you do not trade Micah Parsons. And if the Eagles would have got Micah Parsons, I don't know if I'd ever pick them to lose a game. I'm dead serious.
I've been telling people about Micah Parsons, and I didn't go to Penn State. And obviously, I criticize Penn State, as Jeff knows, every chance I get.
Especially on Saturday when Drew Allen is like garbage.
Every chance I get. Part of it is shtick because there's so many Penn State fans, so I like to needle them around here. But Yeah, I'm not a big fan. And, that dude can play. And if he were on the Philadelphia Eagles, I'd already be planning for where are we going? San Jose, wherever the hell.
Santa Clara.
Santa Clara. Thank you. Yeah, I'd already be planning for that. In Green Bay, look, injuries can derail anybody, but that's baked into it. But if they stay healthy,
It'll be a problem.
big problem.
They do have a lot of weapons too on offense, man. They got guys everywhere. They got every
Matthew
time a new guy
Matthew Golden was a
I'm
great
like,
pick.
holy shit, where did he come from? They got Wicks and they got Dobbs and they got Matthew Golden.
Jaden Reed's healthy.
Jaden Reed. They got dudes everywhere on that offense.
Tucker Kraft's on that team.
Yeah, Tucker Kraft. Yep.
Josh Jacobs, big time back. Offensive line's great.
They have underrated offensive linemen. It's like you never hear about them, but they're actually good. Like Zach Tom.
Let's see how consistent Jordan Love can be, because that's my biggest.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's going to get more consistent if they play from the freaking lead like they did yesterday.
It's true.
Yeah.
Half of that inconsistency deals with you're trying to come back from deficits. Like they had that. They were down 4 touchdowns in the game last year and lost, but they lost like 28-27 because he brought them back.
Nate Burleson brought this up to me when we were talking at the CBS up front. We were talking about pretty much every team. And I mentioned the Packers and, how he thinks the Packers are because they couldn't beat any 10-win teams or 11-win teams last year. And he said, you know what, Jeff? He said, this is how I always looked at them. You could make a case they were outside the Eagles. They were the hottest team going into the playoffs, and they were the 7th seed. And they were playing really well going in there, and Jordan Love was playing really well. And the Eagles just took them to school. He said, that's when I knew the Eagles might go to the Super Bowl, and they might win the Super Bowl. But he said the Packers, if they would have been the Eagles, he said, they might have made a deep playoff run of their own.
When do we play the Packers? Week 10?
Week 10. Monday Night Football at Lambeau.
That's going to be good.
I'm not talking about last year's Packers. The Eagles were better than last year's Packers. I'm not talking about last year's Packers.
Yeah, but a lot of the players on that team were back.
Packers.
Yeah, but a lot of the players on that team were back. That's what he was getting at. And this was before they got Micah.
Yeah, that's the point. And, the Eagles are obviously a work in progress defensively. But Jahad Campbell, man, boy, that's another indictment in the NFL. Oh, I'm not going to take Jahad Campbell because he's not going to be there week 1. Who gives a shit? And he ended up being there.
Week 1.
He
was there. It's not even like we had to wait.
Yeah. But that's the whole mentality of the teams that passed on him. Oh, he's not going to be there week 1.
Well, that's why these teams don't win championships. It's like I always say, everybody lets good players fall to the Ravens. Everybody lets good players fall to the Eagles, too.
Yep. I told that story.
Year.
A former general manager, the Carter year when they drafted Carter, and I texted him, and I said, "What do you think?" And he didn't get back to me, which I didn't think was that big of a deal because he's busy on draft night. I figured he'd get back to me a couple days, whatever. And then they picked Smith at 30, and he got back to me, and he said, "Just start. Are you effing kidding me? What these people are just letting good players get to the Eagles." In the case of Carter,
I almost did it Thursday night. I held back because I don't like the guy, Albert Breer. I think he's an idiot sometimes. I thought he was a really big idiot when he said, that's why Jalen Carter fell to 9. People seem to forget that. I almost tweeted, you are an effing idiot. Like, go take that Ohio State education.
There we go. Now we know why you don't like Albert.
That's the most Penn State comment I've ever heard right there.
He is the worst type of person. Boston and Ohio State.
Take your Ohio State education. That is classic. Jeff Kerr, gotta love it. Appreciate you, brother, for joining in today. We'll talk to you again next week. All right, my man.
Yeah, it sounds great, guys.
All right, thanks, Jeff. There's Jeff Kerr joining us here on Birds 365.
Couldn't hold in the Penn State bias for the whole.
He had to throw in the haymaker. Good stuff there. We got some super chats we'll get to here. Johnny Mack, and then we're going to get to Chris Franklin, who's going to join us here in hour number 2. Appreciate everybody for being here. We got a great crowd in here, almost 1,500 total across the platform. So appreciate all of you guys Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop your comments down below. Any super chats go to the top. We appreciate all of you guys. Dirty Air checked in. He said, what Lamar did to the fan was exponentially worse than Jalen Carter spitting on Dak. John, what'd you think of that?
Yeah, push the ban. I haven't really looked at it. I don't understand this comparison. First of all, Lamar has nothing to do with the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Carter spitting on Dak Prescott has nothing to do with Lamar Jackson pushing a fan back in the seat. Stop making these comparisons.
Yeah, here's another one. Vulnerable said, when does Lamar get a game?
Here we go.
For the record, I support him shoving. Vitality, I might too, by the way.
Again, the NFL placed a point of emphasis on things that they believe harm the brand. Now, they were talking about taunting. They were talking about sexually suggestive stuff. They were talking about violent stuff. They consider spitting on top of that. They will look at the fan thing, but this mentality that they're hurting the Philadelphia Eagles is where guys, you got to get over that. It's got nothing to do with the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm not going to cape for actions. I mean, he spit on them. I can't. Whatever punishment they give him, they're going to give him.
It's absurd that anybody is defending it. It's absurd.
Jalen
Carter's not defending it. The Eagles aren't defending it.
He knows that was stupid. You can't do that, dude. Come on. He knows it. Takeem says, trade cornerback Adoree Jackson for an athletic fullback and a $50 Jersey Mike's gift card.
Yeah. The Eagles fullback infatuation had to do with Ben Van Sumra, not
Hey, you can thank the owner for these comments, John. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. But I've been saying it had to do with a specific guy. Not they'll go about their business. Unfortunately, Ben got hurt. They're not looking for a fullback just to have a fullback. They haven't used the fullback in how long? They were infatuated with the unique athleticism of a particular player. They're not going to be unearthing rocks to find a fullback.
No, they're not. Takeem, appreciate it, brother. Eduardo says, I was watching the Chiefs versus Chargers game for the plot. The plot being Carol G. Take old man. I assume that's the Brazilian halftime lady. Is that who he's talking about?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think that's who he's talking about. Yeah. John, I don't know. I don't know if the maturity level is going to be rising anytime soon. Kyle McMaster, what's up, Kyle? Let me spit directly at Jeff in confrontation and laugh at him after. Let's see if his stance changes. I guess he's defending Carter because Dak spit.
Or you could be mature, Kyle, and not spit on people. Hey, yeah, that might be an option.
Yeah, right.
Everything doesn't have to be, defend somebody because they're wearing your favorite piece of laundry. People on the Eagles make mistakes. It's okay to criticize them. People on the Eagles do things they shouldn't do. It's okay to criticize them. It's not going to change the fact that they're your favorite team. It's not going to change the fact that they're one of the best teams in football. Nobody's defending Jalen Carter's actions in that building. No, Jalen Carter's not defending his actions. Knows he made a mistake. I don't know why you all feel the need to defend his actions. It's bizarre to me.
Well, because they have something that they want out of it. They want him to play football, so they got to defend it and try and make it.
I mean, come on. He made a mistake. You got to pay the price. He's already paid a certain level of price. He's going to get fined.
At what point do we have personal accountability in life, guys? Jalen Carter is a grown man with a bag of money that's going to be near $200 million, $150 million. Come on, brother. I mean, you got to get your head on straight. And
if you're an Eagles fan, you don't want him doing that in the NFC Championship.
That's what I mean. I think that's the biggest point, John. I mean, why are you even defending this? You don't want this. This creates issues for your football team where you don't want them.
They already did. They just happened to persevere.
And it happened to be week one, so you're going to, it's not going to be like you just said. Do that in a playoff game. We got big issues. Here's Brian Pump. He says, Oh boy, looking at that all 22. Sheesh, Kevin Patullo might be ass. Dog, no one was open. Tell Buddy to stop using the Madden coach suggestion.
Well, I find it, the Cowboys did do a good job of taking away the first read. That was obviously their game plan. When you're criticizing the offensive coordinator because guys aren't open, that just means you play too much Madden. Because it ain't about scheming guys open at this level. It's about super athletes being executing properly and doing all the things that they do. This whole mentality of you got to scheme AJ Brown open, you got to scheme Devontae Smith open. Players first, man. Players first.
Here's
Always,
Dank. What's up,
always,
Dank?
always.
He says the fan leaned over the barricade and mushed Lamar. Jackson completely justified. I agree. I mean, the fans are there to watch the athletes. You can't put your hand on
He
an
pushed
athlete.
a couple of the fan. I haven't looked into it that much, but
I
he
haven't either,
pushed a couple players as well. Lamar was not the first. That's pretty much an issue of security at that stadium. You can't touch players.
Well, it's that, but it's also, I mean, look, the fans are paying money to go and see the athletes perform.
Well, you
But
can't
there's the
touch them.
performers, and then there's the spectators. The spectators need to keep their hands off of the performers. I mean, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Sit down in your seat and shut up. You're not on equal plane with Lamar Jackson. I don't give a shit.
Well, you can boo and you can talk shit to them,
Well,
but
that's
you can't
right
touch
as
them.
can, but
You can't touch them.
Brian Pump says if the Chiefs beat the Broncos, JC would not be suspended. Roger can't have his precious go 0-2. No can do, sir. He needs his documentaries.
Oh my God.
The Eagles got a lot of documentaries.
No, the Eagles got a lot of freaking documentaries. Come on, Pomper. Jesus. But this is such bullshit. The Chiefs stink now. I'm in that category. Guess what? Roger Goodell's not doing anything about it. Nobody loves the Kansas City Chiefs. They play in Kansas fucking City. New York.
Remember, they got the Taylor Swift stuff. They do have some of the stuff that Roger probably loves.
New York.
I mean, you can't be mad at him.
If Roger Goodell's on the goddamn conspiracy to get Travis Kelce to win over Taylor Swift.
I'm saying though, that's a good team for the league as trying to grow their entity.
It's a good team for the league because they were great for a long time.
Right, and there's other variables.
The Eagles are a good team for the league. That's why Saquon's getting Martin Scorsese. That's why they're getting all the documentaries. That's why they're getting the America's team, as all Super Bowl champions do. What doesn't resonate with people? The league takes advantage and markets its best teams. Guess what? They're marketing the shit out of the Philadelphia Eagles right now. I just had to talk down the governor of Pennsylvania on this shit on this show. It is absolute bullshit. Get fucking over it. Act like you have the best team.
That was pretty funny. You saying I gotta push back on you, Governor. That was pretty funny.
It is ridiculous, the mentality of this city. Woe is me. You're the best goddamn team. Act like it. Oh, they want Patrick Mahomes to win. Now you're going to go in there and boat race him because he's got no freaking weapons. Well, you should. And I'll be ripping the Eagles if they don't. God, it's such bullshit. It really is. What doesn't resonate? You are that team now. You're that team. How many damn endorsements does Saquon have? I can't keep up with it. I got them all in my inbox. I don't get it, man. And this whole mentality. New York football has been an absolute disaster area for a decade. You don't think if the NFL was trying to build up someone, it would be in New York versus freaking Kansas City? It's absurd. It's impossible to get there. Kansas City. Might as well be a different country. It's absurd. They just happen to get a bunch of good players, and guess what? They're declining now. So enjoy it. Yes, Travis Kelce happened to win over the most famous person in the world. So they will take advantage of that.
Yeah, as they should.
Boy, that's a stupid thing to do. But guess what? Travis Kelce ain't Travis Kelce anymore.
No,
maybe not in Taylor Swift's
He had a nice
eyes.
touchdown in that game, but yeah, other than that, he didn't look too good.
Yeah, it's broken coverage. I mean,
yeah. So got in, but yeah, you're right. Doesn't look the same. John, I want to pivot here, and we were supposed to have Chris Franklin. Maybe he slept in on us. I'm not exactly sure. Hopefully, we can talk.
Yeah.
To
By the way, he confirmed yesterday. Come on, Chris. Where are you?
I don't know where he is. We'll see. We'll see what's going on there. John, a couple things I want to talk to you about. Just kind of last couple takeaways on the Thursday game. I know it kind of feels weird on the Monday doing it because the game was back on Thursday, and we had a lot of football since then. But one of the big things that people are talking about, and I just want to give you an opportunity, Solo, here to elaborate on it, is how well those linebackers played in that football game. Both Zach Bond and Jihad Campbell really played well. And for a Vic Fangio-led defense, linebackers are maybe the most important part. And those two guys looked really good. Zach Bond, almost you could maybe make an argument continued what he was doing in 2024, maybe not quite to that level, but close enough to be in the room. And Jihad Campbell with a great week one for the rookie. What'd you make of the Eagles linebacker play in that game on Thursday and what that could mean for this defense moving forward?
Well, yeah, I just kind of brought it up with Jihad Campbell. It's just like, even if he wasn't playing week one, I don't get the mentality of I can't draft him because he's not going to be there. Let's pretend for 8 games. I think it's a stupid mentality. And he ends up being there week one anyway, and he's the Eagles' best defensive player, according to PFF, which I guess Josh Uche was. But for the guy who played a decent amount of snaps, he was number one. Yeah, I mean, great first impression, great first NFL game. I don't expect it to go that well for 17 consecutive games, but you can see the playmaking ability. One of the underrated parts of the game was him shifting fronts from 4 to 5 and using Jihad mainly to come down when they're having some issues early with the stop and the run. It's what Vic is great at. So I thought that was a big part of the game. Running the pole, as they call it in Tampa too, to be able to be that athletic to carry a receiver 30 yards down the field is really impressive. When he gets the pass rushing part of it down, it's even going to be better and better. It's just going to get better and better. And I thought Zach Bond had the biggest play of the game, chasing down Miles Sanders. It's complimentary, but if that's a touchdown, it's a touchdown.
Yeah, and Nick called it that, John. He said it's a 7-point tackle right there.
Yeah. And obviously, Jihad deserves a lot of credit, Byron Young, for being in on that forced fumble a couple plays later. So it's all complimentary, but it started with Zach Bond and his hustle chasing him down. And he's just, I often say Jalen Carter's the Eagles' best defensive player. I shouldn't say that. He's their most talented defensive player. Their best defensive player is Zach Bond. He was last year. And yeah, there was some concern. Can he do it again? Because he came out of nowhere, basically. Yeah, he's going to do it again. He's just good, period. And he's their best defensive player. Jalen Carter might surpass him eventually, but he hasn't surpassed him yet. So, yeah, it's an embarrassment of riches. And it does have a lot to do with Vic, because I think Vic has convinced Howie that, we need more at this position than you've been typically doing in the past. Trying to piecemeal it together with the Eric Wilsons of the world and the Corey Nelsons and the Paul Warlows and all that. So to put it more emphasis on that particular position has paid dividends. And, that is a talented duo, to say the least. Zach Bond and Jahad Campbell.
Yeah, no doubt about it, John. Really good stuff for that Eagles defensive unit. We're going to see how they continue to develop throughout the year. So excited about that. This is Za'Darius Smith signing, John. We talked about it a little bit in the open. I'm intrigued by your comments on him. I think there's a little bit of a wait and see always when you have a 33-year-old player, but just the addition of a player that has that much experience, I think in itself is a benefit for this young defense that we've talked about. The young defense has a lot of upside, a lot of talent, a lot of potential. But you add a guy like Za'Darius Smith, I think that helps in more ways than just what you're putting on the football field. Obviously, that's the lead, how good he is on the football field. But I think that's a big impact for this defense, a good addition for this defense. I can't wait to see how it pans out. I assume he'll be ready to go for Sunday night versus the Chiefs in week 2.
Yeah. Who were you talking? I'm sorry, I was reading.
Za'Darius Smith, just the addition.
Oh yeah, Za'Darius. Yeah,
the mature, older player, a veteran player, a guy who's been around a long time. I mean, while big on the field too, I think he helps.
Yeah,
a lot.
I think you're going to see pretty quickly that this guy's different than what was rolling out there in week 1. Now you do have to see he didn't have a training camp and all that kind of stuff, so you might have a little bit of a ramp up period. Similar to what you saw with Micah. I'm not comparing them as players, but he didn't play a ton compared to what he usually plays because he didn't have a training camp. And obviously he's 26 years old. Za'Darius 33, as you mentioned, his birthday. So there might be a little bit of a ramp up period, but when he's ready to go, whenever that is, you're going to see very, very quickly the difference between the Tamu signings and a guy who's been doing it at a high level for a long time. And he also gives them more versatility inside because he can rush from inside. He's done that throughout his career.
Yeah.
He did it in Baltimore. He did it in Green Bay. He did it in Minnesota. I presume he did it in Cleveland. Didn't watch enough Cleveland football.
Can't blame you on that.
He did it in Detroit. He can rush from the interior too. Now, you may not need that, but knowing Vic, you think about those movable parts, and we talked about envisioning that with Zach Bond and Jahad Campbell. He can do that with Za'Darius Smith as well. So all of a sudden, you're a lot deeper, you're a lot better on the defensive front. And this goes back to Howie talking in the draft and saying, I can find backups or rotational players.
Right.
Just there's always guys like this. It's a Band-Aid. It's not long-term. They would have preferred a longer-term answer. Maybe that ultimately ends up being Jalix Hunt. But I thought they put way too much on the plate of Jalix Hunt in year 2. And now they have this is more like, yeah, we're a Super Bowl contender. Let's act like it type move.
Yeah, good. Definitely a good addition there. How do you think Jalix played in that week 1? He wasn't notably.
I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was terrible.
He made that one play behind the line of scrimmage I thought was good, but other than that, I didn't really see
I would say average. He got credited, I think, with 2 or 3 hurries, depending on, and those are always nebulous because PFF might have one number. Next Gen Stats might have another number. So everybody's got different definition. But I thought he was fine. But I thought you saw that they didn't really have a finisher on the edge. They didn't sack the quarterback at all. And that stuff will start to, if it continues, will start to hurt you. But I didn't think he played poorly, but I think it's now behind the scenes, the Eagles have been working to improve the edge rushing room for a while. And even bringing in Obo as late as they did in the summer was an indication of trying to get incrementally better. But I think it's pretty revealing after week 1 to say, all right, let's make the move. And part of it's just salaries guaranteed week 1 versus it's not week 2. So if everything does go disastrously, you can just get out of it pretty quickly. But I think it was actions speak louder than words. I think the fact they did it so quickly after week 1 tells you what they thought of week 1.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. No doubt about it, Johnny Mac, as we get ready now. Week 2 will be this weekend for the Birds. It's a Sunday 4:25 matchup in Kansas City. John, what's kind of the outlook for the Birds this week? I know they've kind of a mini bye, which I think was a good thing for them to have coming off of week 1. It's kind of the advantage of playing on that opening Thursday night. Now coming off of that, what's the schedule this week for the Birds? When are they back in the field? When to expect some updates? What do we got, John? What do you know?
I think it's amusing. You would think I would have a schedule.
I'm going to ask you every week, and every week you're going to give me the same shit. They don't tell me.
Nick's talking at 3:15 today via Zoom. That's all I have. Tuesday it'll be a normal week. Tuesday will be coordinators. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday practice. Normal Sunday week. As far as the timing, don't have that yet, but it's a normal NFL week. Saturday walkthrough. Travel. Sunday they'll play in Kansas City. The outlook is pretty grim because the NFL wants Kansas City to win. So probably shouldn't even bother watching the game, I guess. I'm in the other conversation. I don't think Kansas City has a chance in this game. Now I'm going a little bit overboard because it's an NFL game and you can always lose in that.
Yeah.
But the Eagles will be beating themselves. This Kansas City team is not the great Chiefs.
Yeah, and I think that Eagles team is like the skeleton in the Chiefs closet right now. John, a little bit of not breaking news, but just something to note and keep an eye on here. The Eagles are bringing in today a veteran cornerback in Mike Hilton to work out. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's a depth piece. I don't know if it's to replace Adoree Jackson. I don't know what to make of that or how impactful that type of move would be, but I do think Howie's going to try and improve Adoree. I know you said maybe we went a little overboard on how bad or not bad he was, but I don't think Howie's going to sit there and look at him as he.
Well, no, but I think again, I don't think people here at second. They're clearly going to get to Jacorian Bennett or now Mike Hilton is more of a he's not like Za'Darius Smith. First of all, he's more of a slot guy. So if you want to go conspiracy route, he's like 5'8", 5'9", really short. If you really want to go conspiracy, this would be maybe the move to get a slot so you can move Cooper outside long term. That might be something in the conversation. I think that would be more of a practice squad to start signing. Now they have the open roster spot. Could be for Mike Hilton. I can't say, I got to get off and do some digging as to far what's going on. I don't know how well he played last year. He's another post 30 guy, but clearly, the Eagles did not like what they saw in week 1. And, that's probably Vic more related than anything else. But there's no way this is an outside corner. I mean, there's no way. I got to look him up. If he's 5'10", I'd be shocked. 5'8" and 3/4.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't see that. Now he, hasn't.
I might be reaching here, but are they looking for maybe a slot so they could kick Cooper to the outside? No, right?
Well, I just said that.
Oh, you did.
Said that's more of a.
My bad. I was searching on my computer.
Yeah, that is more of that I could buy, but again, it's just the high level slot player that's.
Yeah, can replace Cooper? Probably not.
I mean, Cooper's the easy answer if you can get there. But how do you get there? And Is he better than Mac McWilliams? Yeah, probably.
Here's Prince. Prince says Mike Hilton is strictly a slot cornerback. He has played 4,714 snaps in the slot compared to just 130.
Does anyone listen to me?
Well, he just. I'm not going to not read his super chat because you said it.
Oh no, I'm not saying that.
I got to read it.
I'm saying, yeah, 5'8" guy's not playing outside in this league. So again, if you want to go down the route of moving Cooper outside, how do you get Cooper outside? They don't have competence anybody in house to play the slot position. Maybe you have to go outside and do it that way, but you're significantly downgrading the slot position. So that's sort of like, all right, what do you want to take away from? That's a difficult decision because Cooper's really good in the slot, but maybe ultimately they might say, we've talked about it from a business perspective as well. They might have to move him outside anyway. So you might as well get there. Because all of a sudden, nobody be complaining about the outside positions, but then you'd be complaining about the slot positions. But you might have to pay because of what you're going to have to pay Cooper down the line. Maybe you go in that direction. But all this movement, potential movement in this case, tells you what they think of week one defensively, I would say.
Yeah, which is not necessarily glowing on the defense. So we'll see what they end up doing. Any issue with the way how we handled that, John, in terms of maybe being a little bit more reactive this year, kind of waiting to see and then adding instead of getting ahead of it and maybe making some of these moves earlier? I know when Za'Darius, I think you're right. I don't think he was signing with anybody before the start of the year because he wasn't doing the training camp, all that BS. But any thoughts on that? I had one commenter who said we won last year and how he's a lot more reactive this year as compared to, getting ahead of things, which maybe is a fair thought process. What do you think of that?
Well, I think going back to what he said is that, he can find sort of, he said backups, but, in a more general sense, role players, he can find them, go for the upside, shoot for the upside.
Yeah, right.
And that I think is what he's doing here in the matter of, well, you can see, and by the way, with veteran players, if you're going to make this move and you already made the Za'Darius move again, from a business perspective, if you can get through week one and get to week two, you don't have to guarantee their full salary, whereas they're on the 53 week one as a vested veteran, your entire year is guaranteed. So that's part of it as well. So there's business parts of it. He's got 90 different things he's got to compute. But if you look at PFF, he played pretty well last year. And he's been pretty good throughout his career as a slot corner. So that might be the play, move Cooper outside, let Mike Hilton play inside. Would make more sense than, and yeah, with the Adoree Jackson stuff, look, whether they get Mike Hilton or not, ultimately it's not going to be Adoree Jackson. I hope people understand and heard me say that. I just think it's an overreaction to completely throw the guy in the trash can after one poor game. Ultimately, they wanted to get to Jacorian Bennett anyway. And ultimately, they might want to get to Cooper DeJean.
Do you think the linebacker play that they saw in week one helps them make that move? Or no correlation?
Not much correlation. I mean, yeah, no. Linebackers are about, backs and tight ends. And now from a little bit of maybe if you have a lesser run defender, a lesser guy when it comes to run fits. And again, Mike's gotten some pretty good grades over the years. But he's not Cooper DeJean when it comes to that aspect. I would almost guarantee. So maybe it could help you there, but not in coverage. I mean, if you have linebackers, doesn't matter how talented your linebackers are. If you have linebackers matched up with wide receivers or even tight ends, good tight ends, you have to do it on occasion. It's what Jonathan Gannon will call tough duty, but you don't want to get it a lot in those types of situations. And the Eagles are better at that than most because, Vic is very good with layering his coverage and zoning things up better than most.
Good stuff. Interesting stuff there. Howie continues to look for a cornerback. We'll see what it means or how much degree it changes on the defensive side of the ball. Good stuff there. John, we got 10 minutes left in the show today, and I want to talk a little bit about the offense. I'm not doing it as a sound the alarm, just trying to talk through it with you and see where your headspace is on the offense. A lot of people are pretty critical of Kevin Patullo. I didn't really go down that route. I didn't think he had an awful game at all. I mean, it's week one for the guy. Let him kind of work into it. But the reality is, John, that two players as talented as AJ and Devontae were basically a non-factor in the game. How much you putting into that and kind of your thoughts on it now as we're 3-4 days removed from the football game and getting ready for week 2?
Well, it's kind of similar to people's thought process with Jalen Hurts, to be honest. I mean, I find it ironic that, God forbid, if you criticize the quarterback, which I have not done, I said he played a great game. But I've done it in the past and you get shit upon. But in the same game where you say, well, Jalen Hurts played great. And that's how I came out of that game. From doing the post-game show with me. I said, look pretty good to me. And then you're on doing a 180 on the offensive court. Like, I don't get that. I don't know how that computes. I thought the same thing with Kevin. I said the same thing. If you think about, and obviously the second half, you could argue maybe they did get too conservative. So I'm not saying you can't nitpick, but how many straight they scored on their first 4 drives? How bad is that? Maybe it's unconventional, but that's because they play unconventionally. So I think they're tied together. Like, if you want to complain about the offensive coordinator, well, you got to complain about the quarterback. I think the quarterback played well, so 180. I think the offensive coordinator had a pretty good feel for things. And again, games have personalities. So if you're playing like that Buffalo Baltimore game last night and you had to score points, you're probably playing with a different mindset. But
the one thing I'll push back on you there is like AJ and Devontae not getting open much. How was that on Jalen Hurts?
Well, again, if you want to look at the all 24, I mean, one of the things that Jalen sometimes has trouble with is getting the football out on time. Like, I think a lot of people will watch college football on Saturday. I see guys running wide open. That generally doesn't happen in the NFL.
Right.
And when it does happen, we talked about Kelsey's touchdown. It's like a blown coverage, and you'll get blown coverages. But when everybody's doing their job defensively, and the Cowboys played very well defensively, I think, except for their discipline on the pass rush, which was a disaster. But especially when Jalen Hurts is the quarterback, I think they played pretty well defensively. Those windows are very tight, very small, and if the ball doesn't come out on time, they're closed. But I mean, touchdown, field goal. first 4 possessions of an offensive coordinator. I don't know how that gets shaped as bad, other than, again, if you pick up the game book and look at the numbers and say, oh, Jalen Hurts threw for 152 yards, which I get the perception of that's not good. And A.J. Brown doesn't have a target until less than 2 minutes left in the game. I get the perception that that's not good. But if you watch that all 22, you see they were trying to get him the football. You see the hesitation, of the ball not coming out on time. So if you want to criticize one, you should criticize the other. I personally think the Eagles had a good game. They play uniquely. It's not what is consistently regarded as a high standard when it comes to the passing game. But I get the mentality of people using that as a crutch versus that's just the way the Eagles play. And the work that AJ, he's got a pretty long history. He's going to get the ball because you're going to play a bunch of bad defenses during the season, and you're going to play even some good defenses who aren't having a good day. And there's going to be opportunities to make plays, and the numbers are going to be the numbers at the end of the year. So yeah, I don't see much cause for panic.
No, definitely no cause for panic. But I will say that, I mean, John, a lot of people, and this has been very prevalent in the comments and, since the game on Twitter, I've seen it everywhere. A lot of fans speculating that A.J. Brown was still hurt. I put up like a short just from our post-game show of me saying, it doesn't feel like there should ever be a game where A.J. Brown has one target. I know that there's, different things factor in at different games, but A.J. Brown's so damn good. How do you only get one target to him? And a lot of people comment, he's hurt. You could tell the hamstring's a problem. He was out there as a decoy. What are your thoughts on that? Because, we talked about the hamstring at length through training camp. Do you think that was a part of A.J. Brown's game in week 1?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, they're very cautious with him. I don't think they'd be pushing him out there as a decoy in week 1 against a team they're probably going to beat, even though it's a little bit closer than it probably should have been. I don't see them pushing that. He told me specifically he was okay. Not that he would tell me he's hurting if he's being used. It's not week 17. Like, if you're telling me it's a playoff game, it's a game you need to get into the playoffs. If it's the Super Bowl, yeah, I could buy that. Week 1, they're going to use him as a decoy just to have him out there. No. Nick brought up the 2022 game with Devontae Smith, who didn't get I forgot if he got it. He didn't get a catch in Detroit. And everybody's like, why is Devontae not getting a catch? I forgot if he got a target or not.
No, I don't get a target. I think it was the whole zeros. Remember? Zero catches, 0 targets.
I don't recall, but yeah, it might have been 0 targets. It was certainly 0 catches. And he brought that up again. And the next week he had 6 for 1 whatever and 2 touchdowns. Sometimes, the game goes a certain way, the personality of the game. Last night in Buffalo, you had a shootout. And to play and win that game, you're going to have to throw the football. You're going to have to make big plays. Other games go a different way. The Eagles tend to play a more tempered style of passing offense. I think has no one noticed that at this point? Doesn't mean that's another part of the problem with statistics in football, because when you have, and it's better again exemplified in college, where you have, Arch Manning, he's going to be the number 1 pick. Looks like absolute shit against Ohio State. And then the next week, who did Texas play this week? He's got like 5 touchdowns, against some garbage team. And nobody's looking at the conflation of, well, yeah, he's going to have a lot of 5 touchdown games. And then when he gets up to the few teams that can play, it's more of a struggle. And then people say, what's wrong with Arch Manning? Nothing's wrong with Arch Manning. When you play better competition, it becomes more difficult. And you're going to see that throughout the year, even in the NFL. When you're playing some teams who are up against it defensively, you're going to get good passing numbers, or things are going to be clicking, and AJ's going to put up big numbers. But overall, this is not a high volume passing offense. It hasn't been, it won't be, and it's not going to change.
No, it doesn't have to, because Jalen has the ability that he has. I mean, most quarterbacks can't factor in, putting three receivers on the outside because you can get a one-on-one and running the football and go pick up the first down easily for 4 yards. Most quarterbacks probably can't factor that into their progressions. Jalen does, and it's clear that he relies on that, and I think that's a good thing. So.
And they've had some bad passing games, like Carolina. I always point to that was just bad. Like, I didn't come out of that game, and you can watch, it's posted. You can watch the post game show. I came out of that game saying, "Wow, he played a really good game." Jalen Hurts, but it wasn't a high volume passing game. So I don't know. People just have a tough time accepting that.
Good stuff, John. Let's get to some super chats to close out the show today. Appreciate all of our great viewers today. We had a big viewer day today. Thanks, everybody. Over 900 in the chat on YouTube and over 1,500 total across the platform. So appreciate each and every person for watching the show today. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to drop your comments down below here on YouTube. We love interacting with the great people. Dirty Air says, Patullo's first game as OC. Eagles score touchdowns on the first 3 drives and win the game. Quote, he stinks.
I know. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's funny because and Jeff was there, and I told, I saw Kevin in the tunnel after the game, and I just said, and he was happy. I was happy for him. I congratulated him. It wasn't even my mind that people were going to shit on Kevin Patullo after watching that game. I guess that's just part of being the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know, but I do think it's a Madden mentality of people think, it's his job to scheme up all pro receivers. I don't know.
Like, he was fun. Let's see how they develop. Prince, we already got that one. Appreciate you, Prince. M. Martin, member for 10 months. Thank you, M. Martin. He says, if Miami is bad and goes into sell mode, do you think the Eagles go for a player like Jalen Phillips, or are they done at edge with the Smith signing?
Well, that depends on Za'Darius Smith. I think they're done if he performs like Za'Darius Smith typically performs.
Might also depend on the other guys too, right? I mean, what?
Yeah, well, sure. I think those guys are fine as complementary pieces. I think everything falls into place if Za'Darius is his typical self. I think then you're not bringing in Jalen Phillips to be a complementary piece. You're bringing in him to be a starting edge, and that to me would be, obviously that would mean Za'Darius A would have to shit the bed, or B, Nolan Smith is probably hurt. So you never say never, but if everything goes to plan, this is it. This is the big move, Za'Darius Smith.
Yeah,
but yeah, Miami's a disaster. So, and
they could be selling. That's not a crazy comment. They're crazy thought process.
Jalen Phillips in the Trayvon Walker talk as well. I mean, he's a guy that, because Miami's going to be so bad, but he's got a lot of injury issues in recent years too. So that factors into it.
Good stuff there. A couple more super chats. Nate the guy, what's up, Nate? He says, J-Mac Izzle, when will they make a decision on Carter? If Jihad wasn't injured, where would he have been drafted? Probably top 15, top 20.
Yeah, he probably would have been in the conversation for being top 15. Definitely top 20, which to me is the worst part of the NFL. It's like he's got to be there week 1. And he ended up being there week 1 anyway. The presumption when he got drafted was he would not be ready for week 1. But I don't get that mentality. Like, who cares? It's about hopefully, if you hit on a player like that, it's about not only your first contract, 5 years, but also you want to get that second contract and have a player 8 to 10 years. Boy, the stupid week one mindset. It's like, I'll never get it. But as far as Carter, the Eagles will certainly know today, whether the NFL might not announce it to Tuesday. Jet brought up a good point. They generally don't like to take eyes away from the games, and they do have a game tonight, so that might factor into it. But the Eagles will know.
Yeah,
they'll give.
This is also a day, John, where like all the media, national, local, is all talking about the games of the weekend, so they might not want to damper that either. Honestly.
Yeah, and so it might be Tuesday. It could be today. But the Eagles, either way, the Eagles will know. They will. The mentality if they're trying to hurt the Eagles, they will let the Eagles know so the Eagles can get ready to prepare if he's not going to be there.
Curtis becomes a member. Curtis, thank you, brother. Officially entered for the JAKIB giveaways. More updates on that on Zander Time today. Dirty Air says Birds are the best linebackers as a whole in the league. Well, a little early to say that, but they have a chance to be for sure.
Yeah, they have a chance. Yeah, especially if Nakobe comes back. Then
I just don't know where's Nakobe going to go on the field if Jihad continues to play like that. I don't know if he'll get on the field, John.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you're going to have that consistent play from Jihad, but we'll see.
I don't either, but I think he does have that upside as a player, and even just that upside might be.
Well, if he plays the way he played in week one, yeah, he's not coming off the field.
No, he's not. Brian Pump, one more. He says 2 touchdowns was basically all off schedule by the quarterback. Explain to me why Devontae and A.J. Brown got clamped up by Kyer Elam. Offensive coordinator is weak sauce. So Pumper's gone from criticizing Jalen Hurts now, and he's got Kevin Patullo in his sights.
I love the clamped up by Kyer Elam. Matt was running a shitload of cover 2 in quarters, and we're talking about lockdown corners named Kyer Elam.
Yeah, right.
Come on, Pump. Get on Madden. Play quarters. Can you play quarters on Madden?
Yeah, you can play quarters on Madden. I don't play Madden, but I'm pretty sure you can play it.
Well, then you should know the difference between lockdown corners and zone corners. And
right.
You should know mixed match coverages. I don't know how far Madden goes into it, but yeah.
I think you'd be surprised at how far Madden goes.
Hey, guess what?
Guess
what? If A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith need Kevin Patullo to scheme them open, you got big problems. You got big problems if they've regressed to that point. And I don't believe you have big problems.
No, we do not. Good stuff there, Brian Pump. Appreciate all of our super chats today. Appreciate everybody for being here today. Got a great crowd. So hit that like button. Appreciate all of you guys. Johnny Mac, your final thought on this Monday edition. We now prep for week 2. John, Eagles go out to Kansas City, all right, to take on the Chiefs at Arrowhead. John, your final thoughts on a Monday edition.
My final thoughts is we got an apology from Chris Franklin. It's one of those things.
Tomorrow. No worries.
But, yeah, I'll try to reschedule them.
We are a morning show, and football guys only get a little bit of time to sleep. So if somebody's sleeping, I can't beat up on them. I understand it. So
no, it happens. But I'll try to get Chris to come on tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, exciting week 1 in the NFL. I'm kind of all footballed out, to be honest, but there's one more game tonight. Then we get started on the Super Bowl rematch, which is going to generate a crap load of hype, but I think the Eagles are a better football team.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be just fine, even on the road. I think
we might beat the shit out of them, John. I don't know. I don't think that team is – I think you're right about the way you address the Chiefs in the offseason. We'll see. Johnny Mac, great show today, my friend. I will talk to you tomorrow on a Tuesday edition of Birds 365. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right. There's Johnny Mac, John McMullen, the #1 Eagles beat reporter in the nation. Give him a follow at JF McMullen. We appreciate his the show today. Great stuff there. We'll talk to Chris Franklin either tomorrow or Thursday or whenever we can get him up. Good stuff from Jeff Kerr today. I want to thank all the great people in the chat. You guys are the best. All right, good crowd in here today. It's a good crowd after the week 1 of the NFL. Football is back. Woo! I love football being back. Guys, football makes every other sport feel like it sucks. I'm sorry. I love other sports too. Don't get me wrong. I'm a sports fan. I love watching sports all together, but there is nothing like football returning to the television. There's nothing like it. I'm sorry. There's absolutely nothing like football returning to the TV, okay? Nothing like it. So I got some things to talk about here on Zander Time today. We'll give an update on the giveaways. Curtis, thanks for becoming a member today. Thanks to all of the great people of JAKIB Nation who are a member on here. We appreciate your guys' support as always. All right, so we're going to get into that a little bit. I got a big life update from me that happened yesterday, so I'll tell you a little bit about that. A couple things I also want to something that just came to mind. Yeah, Chris Franklin emailed me. I got the email right there. I'll email him back. No worries, Chris. Not at all. So, but while I am on Chris Franklin missing out on the show, there's somebody I want to absolutely obliterate on the show today. All right? I want to fucking obliterate him. All right? I want to obliterate him. So last week, for those who know, we have This Week in Pro Football, which is an awesome program. We have it normally on Thursday nights. Last week, I sat in for Sal Pell. It was Wednesday night because of the big Thursday night opener for the Birds. So last week, I was sitting in for Pat Callahan. Now, while I want to remain as respectful to Pat as I possibly can, I'm not going to share with you the extent of what's going on with Pat right now. I want to let him do that. He hasn't told me to say anything, so I'm not going to say anything. The one thing I'm going to say to you is it's very dire, okay? There are certain things in life where we talk about football. It's fun. We enjoy it. We get passionate. We get emotional. We talk about all the different things that happen in football. It's not real. It's not consequential to life, okay? I'm up on the screen right now. I got things in my life that matter way more than the outcomes of game on Sunday. Same with Flexen and Steppen, same with Abe, Amreas, Robert B., Daz, and each and every one of you folks in the chat. All right, we all have real things that take precedent. Pat has something like that in his life right now that takes supreme precedent to any of these things. All right, it's life or death situations. These are things where, it supersedes everything that we do here, which, again, is the icing on the cake to life. So last week, it hit me very late in the afternoon that I was going to do Pat Callahan's show for him. He wanted to make sure that Sal got up. Pat was unable to do the show last week on something that came up last second. Again, very dire. So as the producer of the show, getting news 20 minutes before the show, 25 minutes before the show that you had to then host the show, things change, okay? Things change drastically. So I forgot, and I admit, all right, this is where I went wrong. I forgot to text the third guest on the show. So we had on Bill Reinhardt and we had on Sal Palantonio. I forgot to notify the third guest. Now, let me show you what this asshole texted me. And again, the reason I say this is because this happens in this business all the time. Chris Franklin bailed on us this morning. He didn't tell us. He emailed us after. I apologize. Guys, this is media. Like, it's very fast-paced. You have to be understanding of schedule changes. So I get this fucking douchebag, sorry, excuse my language, who texts me this insane text message. I almost blew this motherfucker up, and I'm like, you know what? This guy's not worth my time. All right? This jerk-off sends me an absolute epistle on how important his life is and how I'm the most disrespectful human on the planet because I didn't text him. Meanwhile, I'm dealing with somebody, all right, who I have a lot of respect for, who is, again, struggling with something that is a lot more dire than a Wednesday night football show on a YouTube channel, okay? Again, an epistle. I don't know if you can see that. A complete epistle. There's nothing more disrespectful than you wasting my time. I spent time prepping. and researching my picks and making sure I did everything I could to be a good guest. I'm reading this fucking chat. I'm like, who the fuck is this asshole? Who the fuck do you? First off, the world doesn't revolve around you, my friend. And again, I'm probably using a lot of chats, but bad words. I shouldn't. I don't want to curse too much. But so the guy's name is Cody Zeeb. He works for, I guess, the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, who I kind of love. Sean Green does awesome work with them. We have Sean on every year. I think he filled in for Sean. So this dude, Cody Zeeb, who nobody fucking knows, by the way, and that's fine. I appreciate people who are starting young or who are starting and trying to build up something. But he sends me this epistle, and I'm just like, it's unbelievable how fucking people think the world revolves around them. And I couldn't believe this text. And I had politely told him in the text prior when I apologized that we have very serious, just like, hey, dude, we forgot to text you. You know, like, again, I'm going to be respectful to Pat. I'm not going to relay everything, but these are serious times, man. Like, very serious for Pat. I don't know how else to put it other than that. So I got this text, and I just wanted to share it with you guys because it's so funny. I'm like, yo, fuck you, dude. And then I'll say this. Don't ever think you're fucking coming on my network again with that type of text. If you're in the Discord, I will share the whole text in the Discord. Pretty funny, though. All right, a couple other things I want to hit on today. A couple other things, but I did want to tell you guys, the first person in the media, well, I got a couple, but this is a real shit list guy now. He's on my shit list, and he ain't coming off it. He ain't coming off it, all right? He ain't coming off it. So welcome to the shit list, Mr. Cody Zeeb. Fucking nerd. Nerd. Total nerd. But again, it wasn't my guess, so it is what it is. But pretty funny. I thought you guys would get a kick out of that. Cody Z and Little Mike. Oh yeah, that's how I knew it. He DM'd me on there too. Hey, please DM me. I'm like, dude, the world don't revolve around you. Yeah, he's up there with Miss for sure. He's up there with Miss for sure. All right, so what other things do we got to talk about? What other things do we got to discuss on a Monday morning edition of Birds 365? All right. Philly, I was wondering that. Yeah, look, I kind of like it. I was looking into it. That's why, John, I obviously said something that John just said. I love when John shits on me for that. He's like, I just said that, Zander. I'm like, all right, dude, I'm looking it up on the internet. I didn't hear everything you said. God forbid I miss one word of Johnny Mac. What's epistle? Genuinely never. You know what an epistle is? Epistle is like a long, I'm pretty sure it's with an E, I think. Yeah, epistle. It's with an E. It's a letter. That's how it's spelled. That's what an epistle is, okay? Eagles ended the Chiefs dynasty. That's potential. Ryan, giveaway is going to be Wednesday this week, so I'm down in the shore for a very specific reason. So I appreciate it. We're going to do the giveaway probably Wednesday this week because I have to be back in the studio to do it. I'm not in my studio, so I'm not in a good Zander, I'm pulling a J-Mac. The Eagles are working out the player I mentioned in the offseason. Prince, how many times have I said it? How many times have I said it? I've consistently said it. Prince, let's go, Prince. All right? Heard Zander's girl in the background. That was not my girl. That was my sister. That was my sister who's shouting in the background. Shut up. Nah, that was my sister. I'm down in Cape May, Brian. Yeah, I know you're pretty close. Knob and tube is gone, folks. Knob and tube is gone. It's done and dusted. So no need to worry anymore about the knob and tube. All right. Cody Zweeb is a fucking dweeb. Yeah, he is. By the way, all you gotta do is look up a picture of the dude, and you know exactly why he sent me that text. I don't mean to say that, but I do mean to say that. Sometimes you just know. Sometimes you just know by the way a motherfucker looks. There's my boy, Four Reels Fishing. What up, Four Reels? He says, Big Z, my guy, been super busy. Haven't been on too much. Hype is F that the birds are back. Let's go. I'm with you, Four Reels. I'm with you, Four Reels. Appreciate you being here, brother. Good to see you in here, my man. All right. Good to see you in here. Looks like a cool dude. I don't know about that. I'm waiting for JAKIB Nation to get a hold of this dork. But that's all right. Be nice. That's all right. We don't need to bash him anymore. I left him with the classic no response. You didn't even warrant a response. All right. Oh, Rich, do I have you week 2 in fantasy? Well, I took Sig Lord to the cleaners in week 1. I took Sig Lord to the cleaners. I think I almost doubled his point output. Let me go check that. By the way, I haven't played fantasy football in 10 years. This is the first fantasy football league I've done in 10 years. I won 100 to 57. 100 to 57. Sig Lord, any comment? Sig Lord, I beat the brakes off you, Sig. Come on, Sig. What happened, dog? What happened, bro? Although I can't really blame Sig, dude. His team had a shoddy output. Terry McLaurin put up 3 points for him. Joe Burrow puts up 8 points. I mean, Evan Ingram, which I don't even know why you have him. Matthew Golden put up 2 points. I mean, pretty brutal. Pretty brutal for my boy Sig. But yeah, I beat up on him. First league in 10 years. First game in 10 years. I think the last time I played, I was like 17 in high school. And I hated it so much because everybody's like, gotta play fantasy, gotta fix your lineup. And I'm like, I'm not fixing my stupid lineup. I hate fantasy, but I'm gonna play it this year. Speaking of my sister, shout out to her. She just got me a coffee, delivered it to me. Oh, hell yeah. Fly, Eagles, Fly says, my birthday is tomorrow. I'll be sleeping while the show is on. Shout me out anyways. I will give you a shout out tomorrow, Fly, Eagles, Fly. You're one of our best, so I appreciate you very much. Thank you so much for being here, and happy birthday to you. All right? I'm going to assume you're 19 going on 20. All right? How's that? Zeal, that's interesting. My sister does make epic rosaries, man. They are. Anybody want one? I was gonna do that. She made a green one. I'm like, I gotta promote that to the great people of JAKIB Nation. To the great people of JAKIB Nation. So Senor says, what kind of coffee does Zander drink? I like just regular coffee, but this one is specifically so. I told you guys how dope my sisters are before. My sisters have an epic Instagram account. It's got like almost 100,000 followers. You should go check it out at Everything Krause. At Everything Krause, my last name. So they have a deal with the coffee shop down here that they have their own custom coffee, EK Maple Latte it's called. So it's got no fake sugar in it, only maple syrup to sweeten. So I get their coffee, obviously. I support my sisters, absolutely. So this is the EK Maple Latte. Everything Krause. Maple Latte. Flexen says, I used to have a rosary. Flex, I keep a rosary with me everywhere I go. I keep a rosary with me everywhere I go. I got one right here in my backpack. I got one in my car. I got one at all my work desks. I keep a rosary everywhere I go. All right. Yeah, I don't know KJ, I don't even know what you mean when you say PPR. Like, I don't even know what you mean. That's how much I don't know fantasy. I don't know. I'm just putting the guys who I think are gonna get points in, and that's that. Flexion, I feel that motherly love from our mother Mary with the rosaries, brother. You know, you need that motherly protection. That's how I look at it. Okay, points per reception. Okay, PPR. Is it per rush or per Rich? Don't make me put you in a clean. Don't make me take you to the cleaners too. Maple's made for pancake. I like it in everything, dude. I love maple syrup. I'll buy a Kelly Green one. Yeah, Chris, she has them. I'll get one. I'll get her to give me one because it might be at home for her. So I'll get the green one and I'll show it off when I'm back in the studio. You guys will like it. I'm sure some of you guys, for any of the Catholics or the Christians who like rosaries. I don't know. Some Christians are like, Catholics are crazy because they like Mother Mary. I'm like, you don't like the mother of God. You like Jesus, but you don't like his mother. That sounds pretty weird to me. But I don't know. You know, some people are like that. I don't care. I love everybody. Philly Gridiron says, Xander, did the Bills win it or the Ravens blow it? I'm gonna say a little bit of both. Dank, that's not true, my friend. Dank said I can't have a rosary. I might catch fire. That's not true, Dank. I know you're not a religious guy, but that's all right. Rosary would suit you. You would like it, man. I'm telling you. I love my rosary, man. Yeah, Chris, I'd love to show you the Kelly Green one, my friend. You'd like it. Rosary is a powerful tool for anybody. It really is. I love it. You know, back when I was like 18, or no, maybe younger, maybe 17. I had a crazy car accident. I fell asleep in the wheel. So this is just a funny story. I bet you could argue I shouldn't be here right now. I was working. I told you I used to work double shifts when I worked down the shore. So I'd work double shifts in the morning and then all through the night, basically at the restaurant I worked at, the Windrift in Avalon. And I was in Ocean City in high school with one of my boys, had a bunch of people over, whatever, a party. We were up till 2, 3 in the morning. And I had work at 6 a.m. in Avalon, which is like probably a good 20, 25 minutes away from Ocean City. So I woke up at like 5:30. I was so tired. And I was 16 or 17 years old. I fell asleep at the wheel, crashed my Volvo into a tree on the side of the parkway, all right, at 5 in the morning, mind you. And you should see I still have a picture of my car. I'll show you guys it one day. It is nuts. It's amazing I'm alive. It literally is. But I'll never forget that morning. I had a call out of work. And if you looked at my car, you would say, it's amazing you're not dead. But I'll never forget it. I had a rosary hanging from my rearview mirror. And my grandmother, who was still alive at the time, was at the Cape May house. I told you guys this was her house. And a clamor who was driving on the road at 5 in the morning, an old I love him, but like one of those Jersey guys who's lived in Jersey, was 60 years old, had an old beaten up truck. And he stopped because I went out in the middle of the parkway like this because my phone got smashed. I didn't have a phone, got smashed in the accident. And I woke up basically like obviously from the collision. I had rashes all over my body. It was amazing I was still alive. The whole car buckled in like this around the driver's seat. The passenger, if there was a passenger, would have been cooked. And I was able to jam the door open, get out, and I went out into the road and literally was like this in the middle of the parkway. Anybody who's ever been on the Garden State Parkway. And he stopped. First call I made was the 911. Second call I made was to my grandmother, who picked up the phone. Third call I made was to my brother, who was at the shore house. He came and picked me up, mile 16 of the parkway, brought me home. First thing I did was went right to my grandmother's room, man. I laid with my grandmother. I'll never forget that. My grandmother prayed the rosary every single day. So I don't know. I always like to say rosaries protect me, man. So I have a biased take on the rosaries for sure. But that was a crazy moment for sure. That was a crazy moment. That's why I believe they're powerful. Mother Mary protected me on that day. I shouldn't be here, but you all know me now. All right. Now you all know me, which I appreciate. So some other big news for me yesterday. Reyes, real skin of my teeth, my friend. I'd love to show you. I'd love to find the picture of the car. It's in my camera roll, but it would be hard to find. I could probably do it. Let me see if I can pull it up. I like want you guys to see the car so you'd know I should be dead. Here it is. Found it. Here's the car. You ready? Let me pull it up. This is the car. Volvo S60. There's the car. That's the car. That's the car, folks. Pretty nuts, right? Yeah, I should be done. I should be done. I should be done and dusted, my friends. I should be done and dusted. That was 2015, so I was 17 years old. I had just turned 17, July of 2015. Yep. So the good Lord looked out for me that day. And that rosary hanging on my rearview mirror, I like to think yep, Joe, that's why I love Volvo. One of the safest cars on the market. Yeah, no doubt. I feel bad for the tree. That tree was fucked up. You know, I think about that, though. Every time I drive on mile 16 on the Parkway, I often think about that. So I'm appreciative of every day I got on the earth. Every day my feet hit the ground and I can come here and do a show. Shit, man, I'm happy to be here, right? I'm happy to be here. All right, so some other news yesterday. We'll talk about some of the week 1 games. Your boy Z got engaged yesterday, so I'm going to be a husband soon. My beautiful girl, I gave her a fat ring. I love it. I'm happy as shit about it. Let me see if I can show this ring off. Nah, I can't. This fucking doesn't work. Piece of shit. So that's pretty exciting. By the way, I don't go small. I don't go small in life. You know. Let me pull this thing up. I'm gonna show you this one because I don't know what my girl would want me to show you guys. So I'll keep her privacy. But just take a look at that rock. Take a look at the rock your boy Big Z pulled in. I was taking a picture of the case there for my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law got that case a while back. So I hooked my girl up with a banger ring. All right. She's the best girl ever. So I appreciate her very much. Can't wait to marry her, honestly. Literally the best thing that ever happened to me. Got me. The reason I operate successfully right now is because I got a beautiful woman behind it. So I appreciate her very much. And I'm excited about that. So pretty good stuff. Z went to Jared. Did not go to Jared. All right. Those donations, I guess you're talking about super chats. That's not really what paid for it. I mean, I do make some money. I mean, I have to make money, but the super chats mostly go to Sills and John, honestly. So excited for that. Looking forward to it. Dope shit, Zander. Big step. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. All right. Every kiss begins with K. Rich. No, you know who I use? I go to Mark's Jewelers. Shout out to Mark's Jewelers. Big used to be a big sponsor of JAKIB. Still do business with them today. So gotta love it. Gotta appreciate Mark's Jewelers. Flexing, where's the bachelor party? You know it, Flex. I don't know, man. I'm not that type of dude. I'm looking for a chill one. Dude, it's funny you say this, Wild Bear. My dad said that to me. He said, you got to stream your wedding. I'm like, I don't think so, Pops. I don't think I'm streaming the wedding. I love the great people of JAKIB Nation, but I don't know if they can give them that type of look. I don't know if I want them having that much on me. My dude Rich will never leave me alone. My dude Rich will never let me hear the end of it. All right? He'll never let me hear the end of it. Yeah, Montgomeryville. They have one in Jersey too, I think. All right? So Abe says don't stream. I know, right? Gotta have some privacy. All right? Gotta have some privacy. So good stuff. So I appreciate all of you guys, man. Good show today. Week 1 in the NFL, I thought was awesome. I thought week 1 in the NFL was awesome. All right. So overall, very good games yesterday. And that game last night was a banger, man. It was a banger. All right. So Zander went to 4. No, it's pretty funny. I had a banging plan for the engagement. And it's torrential downpour yesterday. I went to go to a beach walk. My girl loves the beach. Torrential downpour. I haven't seen rain that hard in Cape May in I don't know, all summer. And I was cracking up. So I had to pivot, everybody. But that's what I do best. I can pivot. I can pivot on a dime. Come on, man. All right. I can pivot on a dime. So pretty good. It did. The rain, it ended up being pretty cool, Abe. It ended up being pretty cool. But no, I didn't really care, man. The weather is one thing. More excited, obviously, about that, about being able to give that moment to my girl. It was really special. She's a special person. She deserves it. Trust me, she's a special person. She really is. She's a very, very special person. I've never met anybody as special as her. So I'm excited about it. Appreciate all you guys for being here. What were the let me get off the personal stuff. What were the takeaways from week 1? All right. What were the takeaways from week 1? Time to get rid of the Corvette? No way. I'm adding a truck. I'm not getting rid of the Corvette. I'm adding a truck. I'm already in the market right now. You know what I'm looking for, Fredo? The 2026s are hitting the lot, which means the leftover 2025s you can get a banging deal on. All right? You can get a banging deal on. All right? So that's what I'm looking for. I'm not getting rid of the vet. I'm not getting rid of the vet. She loves the vet. My girl loves the vet. Cody, thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Zeal says, this is Zeal's takeaway. Teams need to play a preseason. It was sloppy football. It was. I was a little busy yesterday, so I didn't get to see as much as I would have liked to. But you got to do what you got to do. Lamar says, Lions are fool's gold. Fool's gold. I can't wait to watch the Deadskins versus the Packers. Ooh, is that the Thursday night game this week? Redskins, Packers? Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one, friends. I think the Packers are going to beat them up. I didn't think the Commanders looked very good. I think my take on Jaden Daniels' sophomore slump coming could be accurate. All right, I think it could be accurate. Henry George says, never talk money or business on air. Henry, I'm an open book. I always have been and I always will be. All right. I don't think I've talked much money or business, though. DM says, you got to be a bit special ed to marry. Are you kidding me? DM, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. My honey hit the grand slam. Are you kidding me? All right. You kidding me? JD5 is a monster. I didn't think he looked that special. I didn't think he looked that good, honestly. I mean, he was all right, but yeah, see, Valencia, I learned when you talk money and business. See, some people like it. I appreciate your sentiment, Henry, that you're thinking that people, but I don't look at it like that. I know most people do. So I know most people do. My editing team, they must be listening. Are you guys listening? Because my chat, my JAKIB team chat is going big. They're all saying, congrats, Zander. What? Congrats. That's pretty funny. Love you guys. Vince and Martin and Cars, I love you guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. All right. He runs a lot. I don't think he looked that good. I really didn't think he looked that good. Z, did you see Rodgers making fun of the Jets fans after the game? Yeah, good. All right. Henry says, you don't need to show your ring on air. Henry, I'll do whatever the hell I want to. I don't know what you're talking about, all right? It's my show and my channel. You know, that brings me to another point. That I'll roast another person today, okay? I already roasted the Cody Dork in the beginning. Now I'm going to roast another person. So I got an email this morning at 7:17 from David McNally, and he says in the subject line, no politics, Zander. And then he says, Zander, the governor made a great point about sports bringing us together as a community. Then you go and tell us about your political affiliation. Please keep your politics out of the show. It's one of the few politics-free places we can enjoy. Go Birds, Dave McNally. I said, Dave, it's my show, not the Dave McNally show. Cheers. Fuck you. Don't tell me what to talk about on my show. I don't alienate anybody for their beliefs. That's what I believe. All right? Who the fuck are you? I don't alienate Shapiro for being what he is. I don't alienate the people who support him, and I don't alienate the people who vote like me either. I mean, good night. These people with the audacity. It's like, fuck all. Yeah, right. Emailing me at 7:17 in the morning about my channel. Andres, yo, Dave, take a lap. Take a lap, Dave. Take a lap, Davey. Appreciate it. Dude, flexing. That's so true. It's so true. But all right, man. All right, all good. I'm done ripping people. Dave, if you're listening, F off. All right. Hey, Z, what do you think about the Fed's position on interest rates? Fucking lower them, Slagger. That's my thought on it. Lower the damn interest rates. What are you doing? You're sitting there waiting to kickstart the economy because dumbass Powell thinks he should take over the whole country. Lower the damn rates. Lower the rates. You'll help every person in the country. You know what the difference is? All the people who have not bought a house. This hits home for me because I'm trying to buy. Obviously, just got engaged. I'm trying to buy a house. You know what the difference in a mortgage payment for a $400,000 house on a 6% rate versus a 3% rate is? Do you know what the difference in the monthly payment is? I mean, it's crazy. They're keeping a lot of people out of the game. All right, they're keeping a lot of people out of the game. Chris Albright, congrats, Big Z. Welcome to the club. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, brother. It hits everybody. It does. All right. He does. Here we go. Fredo becomes a member. Thank you, Fredo. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. I'd rather pay more for a house than pay most of my money in interest. Dude, look up the amortization calendar for a mortgage right now. If you take one with the interest rates, what they are, it is insane. You're paying like twice. You're paying. JM, would you rather pay for a $500,000 house that becomes $600,000, or would you rather pay 2x the price of the house in interest on the 30-year mortgage? It's crazy, dude. It's crazy how much interest it costs to buy a home. It's nuts. That's exactly the point. Thank you, Zeal. I agree. All right. Senor says, rest in peace if you buy that home right now. Well, Senor, the one thing too is like I'm not gonna let politics or taxes or life dictate like what I do with my life. You know what I mean? Like I can't just sit here and wait. Like I said, I could be dead. I could have gotten dead in my car wreck. I can't sit here and wait. I got to take care of my beautiful woman, my fiance. How's that sound? All right, I'm getting out of here. Good show. Good show. I ripped a couple people. I showed you a little bit of my past. I told you about the big life update, and we talked a little bit about NFL Week 1. All right, when I get back, we'll do the giveaway on probably Wednesday. So we'll do that. That'll be pretty good. I'm looking forward to doing those and getting those started up. Hey, what are we using? Are we going back to the same giveaway picker? I kind of like you guys raging about it. It almost was funny. It almost was like kind of joyous for me to see that. All right. Dio, thank you, man. Dio gets 5 memberships. Thank you, Dio. That's 5 more people entered in. All right. 5 more people entered in. Tyler says, I just built a small house with a small backyard. Total 1,100 square feet. That ain't enough for me, my friend. 1.8 million. You must have been like in New York City or something. Tell them about the Rolls Royce. I'd love to get a Rolls Royce. Maybe one day. I don't know. I don't know if I would buy a Rolls, actually. I don't know. I shouldn't have talked about this because then you just have a bunch of people coming in. The political geniuses of the world. All of us are included in this. All the political geniuses of the world love to check in. Love the show, but you do realize lowering the rates will cause stagflation, right? Inflation is already heating up. Inflation's low right now, actually. You should actually look into that maybe, Sean. Inflation's pretty low right now. But again, whatever. This is where maybe the dude who emailed me was right. Now we're into politics. Oh, my goodness. Poli-sci, the political scientist. I got Embrace. Please tell me that's what you studied in college, the political side. Zeal, you know what? Zeal, you know what my best class was in college? Zeal, I walked into micro econ and macro econ. There's these big classrooms. There's like 300 people in the class. I got an A+ in both of them easily. And math. Those are the only things I could get A's in easily without trying. In college, I didn't try very much. All right. In college, I didn't try very much. Econ, A+, easy money. Walked in on test day, knew it like the back of my hand. Just made sense to me. It just clicked. It just made a lot of sense. And math as well. Math I was great at. Math, calculus, all that stuff. I was great at it. All right. Philly O says, great way to start the week. Say full of energy, passion, and grit. Let's go. Love it, Philly O. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right. Dank says, when's the giveaway? I'm going to do it Wednesday when I'm back in the studio, Dank. All right. Wednesday when I'm back in the studio. Wednesday when I'm back in the stew. So we'll talk about it. We'll do it then. All right. Stagflation, will that raise the cost of the bachelor party? What do you guys think? I'm a partier? I'm not a big partier. I don't like partying. I like working and being with my family. All right. I like what Mike said a couple minutes ago. Let me find that comment. Mike said, I buy V8s. You and me both, Mike. You and me both, Mike. I can't help myself, Mike. I can't help myself. All right. Buying a house in Cape May. I can't afford Cape May. Not yet, Joey. I'm in my grandma's house she bought in the 70s. Probably won't be getting out of here. All right. All right. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Thanks, everybody, for showing me some love on the big life event we had. I appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to week 2, man. I think the Birds are in a good spot. I think they're going to be able to take advantage of I think they're just better than the Chiefs. I really do. I think they're just a lot better than the Chiefs. Here's Pumper. With Zander, with all these moves, safe to say Howie trolled the offseason. This is eerily similar to 23. What a dumb comment by Brian Pump. No, it's not. We're significantly in a better position than we were in 23. So you think Vic Fangio is like Jonathan Gannon that year? You think Jalen Hurts is like 23 Hurts? I don't think so. Kirsten says, why does everyone think Z is a partner? Well, Kirsten, believe me, I had my share. I had my days. Okay. I had my days. All right. I wasn't like I never was into it. I did go to college, but I did it so hard. I do everything. I do it hard. I do it fast and furious. I did it hard. I went off and then I was done. I'm like, I'm done. I want to build a business. I dropped out of college and here we are. Dropped out of college, went into business, and here we are 5, 6, 7 years later. Okay. So, Texas T said, Howie said this is not the offseason we're used to. Got to pay people soon. That's true, Texas T. He did tell us that. All right. Sean says, damn, I love to listen to the show for years, and inflation is what got me a shout out. Sean, I don't see you in here often. If you were in here, I would give you a shout. It's not just inflation. I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for listening to the show. It means a lot to me. I do appreciate it. Denise, thanks for being here. Brian Pump, appreciate you, brother. Sean, appreciate you too, Sean. I didn't know you were here often. Joey Steele, Texas T, Dank Bird Gang, Dirty Air, all the great people of JAKIB Nation. I love each and every one of you. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Hit that like button on your way out. All right. Hit that like button on your way out. Week 2, Eagles-Chiefs, Sunday, 4:25 matchup. I think the Birds are in a good position to start the season 2-0. Appreciate all you watching. See you next time, everybody.
You've been listening to Birds 365, the destination for the passionate Eagles football fan who bleeds green. If it's Eagles football, we're talking about it. Debate inside the locker room and guests that are some of the greatest football minds from around the region. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on social media at JAKIB Sports. See you next time on Birds 365.